Hello everyone, and welcome to the glorious Estufa Fria. We are at the growth stage here. We are going to have a wonderful afternoon of programming for you, focusing on our multitude of ecosystem projects. We have a great couple of panels coming up. First up, though, we have some demos. Our master of the ecosystem, Tom Lee, will be moderating some demos from a few projects that you may have heard of in the Solana ecosystem. We have four great people coming up here. We have Matt from Valhalla, Stella from Slope, Tristan from Zeta, and Vito from All.Art Protocol. Without further ado, Tom, let's kick it off.
Hey everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to Estufa Fria, our growth stage. It symbolizes the vibrant expansion of the Solana ecosystem, and so we're absolutely excited to celebrate the blood, sweat, and tears of our developers building on Solana. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Tristan from Zeta.
Cool. Is the screen share working all right? Awesome. Thanks everyone for coming here. If I haven't met you already, my name's Tristan and I'm a core contributor at Zeta Markets. Zeta is a best-in-class DeFi derivatives platform and offers both futures and options trading. The goal of Zeta is to bring the best of CeFi to the world of DeFi. In particular, we're trying to bring the speed and capital efficiency that you love in some of these platforms to the blockchain. And essentially, we're trying to fulfill Anatoly's vision of bringing NASDAQ on-chain. So to jump into the demo, which is what you're all here for today, here is the Zeta platform, as you can see. First off, we're basically going to go and connect our wallet. You can see we support a bunch of wallets, your usual ones, and recently integrated some great ones like Slope over here for mobile wallets. So let's jump in and connect our wallet. So here you can see we've actually got a nice little onboarding flow to walk you through the product and how to get started. So we airdrop ourselves a bit of USDC, which should come through in just a second. So we've got our 10,000 DevNet USDC. We deposit it into our margin account, which is approved through our Phantom wallet here, and a nice little modal. So now we can get started on the Zeta platform and actually start trading. So to basically show you what we have here, we're trying to build this kind of CeFi options and futures exchange, something that I guess is parallels like an FTX or Deribit. We start off with our kind of DevNet balance here of 10,000 USDC. And you can see the UI here. We basically have our chart, which is using the underlying Pyth oracle. So we actually open sourced, I guess, the first price chart for Pyth underlying prices. And here you can see we have our strike panel, all the different strikes, your bid, your asks, and your break evens, which is really cool. And you're able to trade both your calls and put options. You can see here in the strike panel, we show the current price of where spot currently is. So Solana's at a nice $244. And we can see all our out-of-the-money strikes here and our in-the-money calls here. So basically, these strikes are auto-generated as well. Every time the market goes and expires, we take the spot price and we can dynamically generate. And so this will basically go on in perpetuity in this contract, which is really cool. We've also got multiple expiries, as you'd be familiar with options, and we can seamlessly change between them, which is great. Yeah, and we see ourselves as kind of the Uniswap for options. We can list a bunch of long tail like alt assets for options, and we can basically scale to any number of strikes and expiries as we please. So now let's actually go through the trading flow. This is the exciting bit. We're going to go through what it's like to be an end user on the Zeta platform. So we're going to go here. We're going to select a call. We're on the 9th of November expiry. We're going to get a kind of deep out of the money call here over. Oh, 1 second, sorry. Here we select the strike here. You can see we've basically got all the parameters here. It gives you a little memo here as well. On this date, I think Sol will be above $280, so that's essentially what an option is doing, and it kind of allows you to speculate there. So we've got the buy and the sell. Let's go and sell an option, right? So we're selling a call option here. You can see the order book. So we've got all our bids and our asks on the order book. So to go and sell an option, let's pick this one on the order book. It kind of autofills the price based on this level of the order book, and we can go and use this scroller to select how many options we want to put on, or we can numerically go and chuck in 100 here. So the really cool thing I want to highlight here is we are selling 100 call options here on Solana. If you were to do this on a fully collateralized platform, you'd actually be paying what the spot price is, so roughly $250, and we're selling 100 of them. So if you do the math, that ends up coming up to $25,000 that you'd have to post in collateral. However, since we're an under-collateralized platform, we can actually do it at a fraction of that. And you can see that the initial margin we need to put up is only $2,500. So it's actually 10% of the full collateral that you need to post. And this makes it really efficient for any kind of market participants, market makers. You can do a lot with that kind of money. You don't have to post up a ton. So let's go through here, and let's actually sell this call option. You can see the little phantom pop up here. Goes and sells it, and you can see gets executed straight away. We get a little bit of a trade notification there telling us that we got filled on the order book. And I guess the order book, to preface, is actually built on top of Serum, so we're executing all these contracts through the Serum settlement layer. Here we have our position, and you can see it here. So we're short 100 Solana calls, for the 280 strike, and you can see your kind of P&L and a bunch of other parameters there. So that's basically, in a nutshell, how you would trade on our platform. It's as easy as that, and you've suddenly put on an options position. So that's really exciting. You've also got all your kind of different account metrics here. So that's really cool. We've got options, which is incredible. We're one of the first to bring options to the Solana blockchain, and we would say we're like a best-in-class platform here, bringing under-collateralized super fast options. Not only that, but we also just released last night to the public futures trading. So we're actually the first dated futures exchange as well on Solana, which we think is also really exciting. We're able to ship that out in record time, which is super cool. You can see we have, for our 2 expiries, our futures listed, our 9th and 10th of November ones. And once again, it's a similar trading flow. You can go and basically put on the different size that you want. It will show your liquidation price and a bunch of other things. And I can go ahead and buy or sell a future here. And that will go get executed and eventually show up there. So that all looks really simple and really easy to trade. But there's a lot of science and a lot of interesting stuff going on under the hood. So under the hood, one of our magic mechanisms, I guess, we are using the Serum order book, but we're also composing that with what we call our options market maker, or OMM, as you'll see in our documentation. This is basically a framework to price all the different options that are out there on the Zeta platform. And we use basically best-in-class from TradFi, like Black-Scholes pricing for all these options to give really accurate, fast updating prices that move with the Pyth Oracle. And so, yeah, we basically think that our platform is almost like the Uniswap for volatility. It basically lets you price volatility and find the fair value there. And given that we know the theoretical prices for all these options, or we have an opinion there, we can quote two-sided, and that's why you can see we have quotes across all these different markets. So on some other platforms, you might look at them, and they might have no liquidity on all their markets. We actually, for just Solana, we have 2 strikes, 11 expiries, calls and puts, ends up being 46 markets. All of them are basically quoted by this market maker, and so you can enter into any position. You're always going to find a counterparty to trade against. The other thing is we are building on Solana. 400 millisecond block times means we can update very quickly. We use Pyth under the hood as our price oracle, so we're really reactive in terms of some of the pricing that we have. This also lets us do liquidations in real time, which is really exciting. And that's what basically powers the under-collateralization of our platform. We use future-style margining. Basically, people can go leveraged on that. And the more leveraged you are, the quicker you get liquidated. And we can do that because it's so fast on Solana. And I guess to wrap up on that, we're currently on DevNet, which is really exciting, and you can go out there and play a little bit on the platform and get a sense for what we're building. The project in general would love feedback. Jump in the Discord, post any kind of product feedback. We'd love to hear from you. Also, if anyone's building composable projects, vaults, or automated strategies, also people we'd really love to talk to, market makers, and anyone trying to, I guess, hedge out their portfolio using options. Cool.
Tristan, thank you so much. You were participating in the hackathon and you received our grand prize.
Yeah,
I was just wondering if you could, tell us a little bit more about your story of how you started the project and if you have any advice for future hackathon participants.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was just a bunch of like-minded individuals who knew one another, and we wanted to build something really instrumental and interesting in the space. And the Solana Hackathon was obviously an incredible way to get kick-started. It basically started as a few guys coming together and working out of an apartment, building a really simple platform, which is now scaled, and it's a huge community, decentralized across the world. 20,000 people in the Discord who are kind of all pitching in and giving their kind of different inputs and trying to build out the best platform there is.
Do you have any advice for future hackathon participants?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people are kind of on the fence whether they should go full-time into blockchain and into development. And there's a bit of a learning curve, admittedly, but the payoff is incredible. Once you go over that little learning curve, I think the rewards are kind of endless. I think the community are awesome. You learn so much about distributed systems and smart contract programming. And I think there's a really vibrant community around Solana that's just, amazing.
No, it's been amazing to see so many projects being submitted in the hackathons, and we've really seen, I think, true organic growth through it. And so, thank you so much for your presentation.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Not at all.
See you on mainnet.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, everyone.
We'd like to invite our next speaker, Vito from All.Art.
Hi. Yeah, I'll just have to do this Okay. I hope it's running. Oh, no, the power is... No, actually turned off. So yeah, this is gonna take a while, probably. The battery died, so yeah, I have to do it on the power. But actually, I would like to take this opportunity while the laptop is powering up to tell you a bit about what we are actually doing. As you can probably see, I'm wearing the hoodie, which is SolC hoodie, right? And some of you might know what the SolC is. It's the first truly open marketplace, NFT marketplace on Solana blockchain. And there are war stories about SolC, how it started, where it is now. But what I want to do now on the stage is actually do something special. And so behind SolC is All.Art, okay? And this is the first time that you are seeing our new visual identity. And I'll tell you more about what is actually All.Art. All.Art protocol is the infrastructural layer that we are creating on Solana blockchain to enable next level of NFT creating, NFT managing, NFT organizing, trading, everything that has to do with NFTs. All.Art protocol hopefully is building. It is doing so together with Metaplex guys. We are using the Metaplex protocol also together with them, and we want to extend the protocol for different verticals in the whole ecosystem. So what we have concluded is that actually what is happening with the NFTs is a very strange situation, is that NFTs were created by programmers, and they were created to handle transfer of the digital ownership. But the problem with a digital item that is represented as an NFT is that it does not have all the metadata, all the ontologies, all the concepts of different verticals. Different verticals in business, different verticals in art, in culture, in many different areas of life. So if we want to change the world using NFTs, we need to tackle all these different industries. We need to see what they need from the NFTs which is not only a hash in the blockchain. So I'll show you a couple of interesting things now. Actually, I have no idea how much time do I have. There is a slight problem because when the computer turned off, all the pages turned off. It's plugged in, so until the image appears, I also want to say that we are the only marketplace on Solana for the NFTs that is truly open, which means that you can come, you can mint an NFT, and you can list it for sales. And this has been a real struggle in the last two months since we've been alive, because as you know, the name of the game is like create a fake and then sell a fake. And then it all started with also creating a lot of collections that you have probably seen in the last couple of months. And collection after collection also requested verification. And then you come to a point to understand like what an NFT verification actually means. Like who is the creator? What creator does he has the right to publish a collection like that? Where are the artist's rights? Who owns the art that he is displaying? And these are all very important elements of this future play of NFTs that actually no one is currently taking care of. Because talking to an artist that is minting an NFT and verifying it doesn't mean that we just need to identify him. We need to identify his work. We need to know whether this work came from him. Is it an original work or is it a derivative work? And there's a whole bunch of problems that are associated with actually managing the NFT sector properly. So what I want to show you here is how Solsi is actually managing, and All.Art protocol are managing these things. So when you go to Solsi and when you want to create an NFT, it's as simple as this. You just go to create page and then you upload things, upload images, upload files, put a title, put a description. But here is an interesting thing. This is what I want to emphasize. All.Art is the first protocol, what we know in the world, to include a license right embedded inside of the NFT. That means that the license exists on-chain, and they're linked with the NFT itself. And that means that when a buyer and a seller make a deal, right, a buyer buys an NFT, he actually knows what rights he owns. And if you pay a close attention to what is happening in the NFT sector, very small number of projects are actually transferring any rights or even know what right mean, what copyright is, what intellectual property is. They simply don't know these things. So when you buy an NFT, you actually don't know what you are allowed to do with this. And this is a big, major problem that needs to be solved if we want to onboard the traditional art market, if you want to onboard museums, if you want to onboard music industry, if you want to onboard movie industry. All these verticals have their own license rights, license agreements, transferring of intellectual property, and things like that. So anyway, when you are minting an NFT, you're basically selecting a license like a private use, personal use, public display, reproduction, commercial exploitation. But this is just the start of how structuring the licenses inside of the NFTs should look like. And All.Art protocol is here to deliver these new standards in the NFTs for the future of not only the art market and the NFT market, but also other NFT verticals. So what I want to show you next, of course, come to the Solsi and mint some NFTs. But what I want to show you next is this. So this is a virtual exhibition that we did for a special collection that we are very fond of. It's called Gods exhibition. So All.Art was actually derived from VR All.Art, which is our platform for virtual reality galleries, museums, and exhibitions. And it runs in a browser, but it also runs on a VR headset. And we have also our own avatars inside virtual reality. So when you jump into VR, you can actually see your hands. You can, meet other people as avatars inside. It's really crazy. But here, how the gallery actually looks like when you're, browsing through it. So we have the engine for creating these galleries, for editing the exhibitions, publishing exhibitions both in VR and on the web. And you can see that great care has been taken for these exhibitions to look photorealistic. And this is what we've seen in the last, let's say, 3 years while we were developing VR All.Art, is that photorealism and making these environments look real is what matters when people enter VR. When people go into virtual reality, if the environment is photorealistically rendered, then they take care, they look at the art. And this is what we have seen from all the users that were getting into the virtual reality. So not only that you can see this is a Gods exhibition, but I want to also show you some other exhibitions that we've done with VR All.Art. And for example, this is a digital art fair that was recently released in Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, they had a real art fair, and then we built them the digital art fair. It featured, I think, more than 100 NFT artists, from the names like Beeple and Puck to some of the less known artists. And all of that was done also in virtual reality and on the web. And you can see that when you go to VR All.Art website. But what I want to tell you here is that the fairs of the future, galleries of the future, museums of the future will all exist in what we call today metaverses. There's a person called Mark Zuckerberg that took this name, and we don't like it. But it is what it is. So anyway, the metaverses of the future will actually function as places where NFTs are stored, where NFTs are displayed, where NFTs are used. And this is the most important thing that we should all realize, is the NFT is a bearer of the digital form and value that will be our, let's say, next level of presence in the digital world. You will own your avatar, you will change your avatar, you will own your sneakers, you will own your shirts as a digital form. And then you will have your own homes, you will have your own galleries, you will be able to put on display the collections that you made as NFTs. But I can tell you that this is just the beginning. When museums start digitizing their collections, putting them in virtual reality, this is where the real fun starts. So we in All.Art protocol understand the need of the community, the need of the whole world to actually make this transformation. And this is what we are building, like these new standards for different verticals, making them all fit together. And while doing this, we will be pushing not only Solsi as an open marketplace, but also VR All.Art and many other products that we are developing that will plug in to the protocol, together with, of course, the Metaplex Foundation that is let's say, the core infrastructural layer that is needed. So thank you for your time, and yeah.
Hey, Vito. Oh, my God. Like, you guys have been building so much.
Well, yeah. They're the guys.
Well, I mean, this is curious because, like, NFTs are going to be huge, and it seems like they are starting to, really have, like, a lot more utility. And I was interested in learning more about, like, kind of like the Unity Solana wallet that you guys were working on. Could you tell us more about that?
Well, actually, the guy there, he's called Vuk, and he will be giving a workshop on Wednesday on Unity Solana wallet, then explain how to use it. We also now have NFT implementation in the Unity Solana wallet, so we will release that during the conference. And what is interesting here is that Unity is one of the core game engines on the market, right? So VR All.Art was built in Unity. And we see that if there is an easy plugin for Unity to use Solana blockchain and NFTs on Solana blockchain, actually actually this will give kind of a boost for the whole industry of games, apps that are delivered in Unity to actually be, the cornerstone of implementation of gaming verticals and maybe some other marketing verticals, apps in marketing that will spark the next, revolution in VR, AR, things like that.
No, I truly agree, and especially because I think that with our recent announcement of the $100 million Lightspeed FTX and Solana fund for gaming, I truly do think that a lot of us at Solana Labs really think that gaming is kind of going to be the next level. It's going to be the next level of NFTs and just mass user adoption.
You know why? The thing is that when you talk to children, right? I mean children adolescents playing games when they're, I don't know, 13 years old, 14 years old, 15 years old. They want to play to earn, right?
Right.
So this is what they want, because the current state is that the only way that they can get to the audience or, let's say, earn some money is by making it a YouTube channel for them, right? Being a YouTuber. Yeah. And that is not for every child, because they cannot go, on camera, they don't have the charisma. It's not for them. But they're looking at these YouTubers and thinking, oh my God, if I could earn some money on it, But if the NFTs and cryptocurrencies and play-to-earn models come into, we will probably be eating the food that provided the kid and not ourselves. I mean, this is going to be crazy future. But I see a lot of potential in play-to-earn, but we need to kind of think where this is actually going, because it's not an easy thing to kind of rotate everything around value and money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And currently it is. I mean, in the NFT sector, it's a, complete cash grab. And it's all about, making money on NFTs. So we need to move this into the arts space. We need to move these things into the, real culture.
Right, and to more experienced, giving people the experience of NFTs as well, with VR All.Art. It's absolutely amazing, kind of what you guys have built.
Yeah, but you have to try it in VR. I'm serious.
Oh,
we have to meet in VR.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for your presentation today.
Thank you.
That was Vito from All.Art. And we're now really happy to announce our next speaker, Matt from Valhalla. And Valhalla is another NFT marketplace, and we're seeing just a ton of growth in the NFT area on Solana today, with 2.2 million NFTs minted in the last 3 months, which is absolutely insane. But Matt, take the stage.
Thank you. All right. Hey, everybody. Nice to be here. My name is Matthew. I'm starting Valhalla.io with my co-founder. And Valhalla is an NFT protocol based on Solana. And the base layer is a NFT marketplace. And we're really focusing on UI, UX to really bridge the non-crypto, to help bring non-crypto users over to the NFT space. And I think, what I think the space really needs right now and what we're really focusing on is a heavy focus on UI, UX, because at the end of the day, non-crypto users are, they're not going to spend time, setting up wallets, doing all that stuff. That's a little bit more complex. So we're really trying to, bridge the non-crypto user over to the NFT space. And beyond that, once we have sort of perfected the simplicity of an NFT marketplace that is very usable, we want to expand on that by integrating DeFi tools to add instant liquidity and helping users extract more liquidity from their NFTs. So it's been a pretty exciting process so far. We just started building a little over a month ago and entered the hackathon with not too much time, but it was very fun. And we have something that I want to show, which is I would call pre-alpha. And yeah, so basically this is what we have so far. So you can go connect your Phantom wallet, explore, you can set your profile, you can verify by Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and eventually want to allow users to automatically import content very easily and seamlessly. So, again, everything is sort of tailored to the non-crypto users so they can come in and access these tools that everybody else is enjoying right now. So we also have minting functionality layered on top of Metaplex. So you can come in here, mint your NFT, and it will then appear in your created collections down here. You can select your NFT and then list it for instant sale or an auction. And what isn't really displayed visually here, which I would like to talk about a little bit more, is how the Valhalla token will play into the ecosystem. So we're aiming to have this be the first community-run DAO-governed NFT marketplace on Solana. So what we're going to be focusing on is having the bulk of the fees generated from the protocol flow to the Valhalla treasury, and then users of Valhalla, people who participate in the ecosystem, will be eligible, to earn those rewards. So that's sort of the vision behind Valhalla. And then we also really want to incorporate, cross-chain. We think eventually this is going to be a very cross-chain ecosystem. So and the usability of Solana is just unbelievable. So we really think that we're going to see a lot of NFT activity from other chains move over to Solana, and so we want to be able to help facilitate that as much as possible. And eventually, I've spoken with a lot of creators from the crypto world and the non-crypto world, and the bulk of them are pretty chain agnostic. They care about their art and not much else about the crypto space. So we really want to help make that process a lot easier for the artist. And so I think the natural evolution of that is going cross-chain. But in terms of the layer that we want to be based on and have everything run off, it's a no-brainer for that to be Solana. So yeah, this is Valhalla. We just started recently, and it's been extremely fun building it. And the Solana community is very badass, and we're happy to be involved in the Solana community. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Nice.
Hey, Matt.
Sweet. Here, I'll unplug for you, brother.
Great presentation.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, so how long has it been since you've started working on Valhalla?
So the entire process started back in April. Funny enough, that's when I got in touch with you guys. But the actual building of the app has I think we decided to enter the hackathon a week or two after it started. So
Wow.
yeah, so it was it was a rush to actually build in that short time frame. And I mean, we've been building out a Rust team with Rapid Innovation, who's our co-founder. So yeah, it's been pretty fun. But
That's amazing progress, man.
Yeah.
And I also like the aspect of a community-driven marketplace. That's
yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, we started. I mean, that's been my whole reason for getting in the space. And the previous projects I've been involved in, we've always focused on building out DAOs and having everything be community focused and run through a token economy basically. That's for me, that's the most fascinating part about this space. So, and when we announced that we were doing that, there was massive positive feedback from the community. So clearly there's a product market fit there. So and people definitely want it on Solana. And
right, and I think even with all of these NFTs, for example, you see Monkey DAO, and they're all kind of centered around community, and I think it's almost to a sense, product-led growth is incredibly important, but community-led growth is just as important, and it's seeming to be more important as time passes.
Yeah. And I'm really excited to see how that plays out. I mean, you already see the DAOs being popped up left, right, and center on Solana, and it's just going to get better and better. So we want to contribute to that. So
we're excited to see Valhalla launch, man.
Yeah, it'll be exciting.
All right.
So if anybody wants to learn more, you can just go to valhalla.io and join the Discord. And and we'll be onboarding people into the closed beta in the coming weeks. And looking forward to chatting with everybody after.
Okay,
Cool.
Thank you.
All right, sounds good.
Matt. I am excited to announce our next presenter, Antoine from CryptoPlace. Take it away.
Thank you. Super excited to be today to talk about. My name is Antoine. I'm going to talk about a project that we started in February, which is called CryptoPlace. So why CryptoPlace? we were in beginning of this year, we were in a restaurant. We are thinking like, it would be great if you could pay with crypto. And so the guy would come at the end to give you the bill, and how do you want to pay? Crypto, please. So that was the idea and the vision. We want to bring crypto everywhere. And we wanted to know how we could bring it everywhere. So it's been many years that I am in the space, and everyone here understands how works cryptography, understand how works a wallet, understand how works an address. And usually, when you want to send some crypto, you still need to know the address of the receiver. You still need to have the receiver. He needs to have a wallet, and so it's very easy to send crypto between us here. It's not that easy to send crypto to your mother, to your friend, and eventually one day maybe to your dog. We'll see. So why it's very complex? Because obviously, before being able to send crypto, you need to have done a lot of steps. So we are building a mobile wallet on Solana with a special sauce. The idea here was, what if we could send crypto to everyone with a link, and from this link, the user will be able to onboard into the Solana ecosystem very easily, very quickly. So we are building a wallet with this special sauce. I will show you how it works now. OK. So as you can see, it looks like a traditional wallet, mobile wallet. We are building it on Flutter, on Dart. So the experience will be very fast. So let's say that I want to send some Solana token to a friend who doesn't know nothing about Solana, but I have some Solana token. I would like to say, give it a try. So I'm going to click on the send button, and here normally on all the wallets you're going to have the opportunity to send to a Solana address. But in my case, he has nothing. He has no Solana address. So I will be able to click on the second option and type the amount I want to send to him. So let's say $2. I say, I'll give you, or you're in pizzeria, I'm going to tip you in Solana token, and you will see how it's easy. So here, I type the amount, I process the transaction, and at the end, I get this pre-filled message that I will be able to share with any social media platform. So it could be Telegram, Signal, email, and you name it. So here, I'm going to send to my friend Quentin, click on the share payment link, and I just click on the button, I share the message, and he will get it. Once I share it, it goes back to the balance. I have a little bit less Solana on my wallet. So how it works. So you can send this message on any social messaging platform. We think that that's an opportunity to actually expand the ecosystem. Why we choose Solana is because we believe that Solana is fast and cheap. So for this use case, it's perfect. The message you see here has two links. The first one is very smart. He understands if the receiver already has the application, yes or no, we'll be able to get some context around who is this user. If it doesn't have the application, it will provide you just a page, hey, you need to install that, like any marketing tool where you need to do something to get the money at the end, right? So you will actually click on the first link, install the mobile application. As soon as it arrives in the mobile application, it will see a second pop-up. Hey, money is waiting for you. Please click on the second link. And what happens in the background is actually we are having here a private key which is split in two pieces. And by actually clicking on these two links, I will be able to recombine this private key. And so as soon as the wallet is able to recombine the private key, it's just moving the funds from a temporary address into his own address. And it's very simple. We spend a lot of time on that. We are almost there. We think that could be a very important breakthrough in terms of adoption. So if you want to go into the detail of the protocol and how it works, you can go on our website. We are also on Twitter. So guys, if you believe that payment leaks in crypto are inevitable, like us, please follow us on Twitter because, to give some love a little bit. We're here just to push the ball forward and to trying to, expand the reach of what we are doing. And we believe that could be a way. Thank you so much for your time. We are really excited about it. We will launch a mobile wallet end of this year. If you are interested, you can talk to me at the end. And thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, Antoine, thank you so much
Thank you.
for that. Could you join me here?
Yeah,
Yeah. So how did you kind of end up tackling this problem?
Yeah. It's been many years that I'm in the space. I've been passionate about bringing more people into the space. Before doing this project, I was working on a name service in the Cosmos ecosystem. And at the end, I realized that the only way to get more people is not necessarily to have a username, but actually using links as a way to get more traction and get. So it's been it's a long journey, but I believe we're close now. Let's see.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. And I totally agree with the simplification of all the functionalities, specifically because for mass user adoption, we need to kind of get away from all of that, right?
Exactly.
Complexity. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we believe with links, people can follow step-by-step process, and at the end, they can understand during this process what means a secret recovery phase,
right.
And with education in this process, then that's possible. It just needs to be gradual. So, for instance, in our wallet, we explain at the beginning of the onboarding what is the secret recovery phrase, and then you have later notification to make sure they back up properly. But we don't block, the flow, otherwise they are lost. And especially if you send money to a friend in a bar, they have no paper and no pen, so it's not the right time for him to write the phrase. He need to do that for sure. It could be maybe the night after the party or the morning. So
right.
Gradual process.
Payments is going to be absolutely huge,
Yeah.
and I truly think that Solana is kind of the place to be for it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I mean, well, excited to witness Crypto Please early next year. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah. Next, we have Stella from Slope Finance. So we're really excited. Please take it away. Yep.
Thank you, Tom. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, great. Okay. My name is Stella Kwok. I'm the co-founder of Slope Finance. We are the first mobile wallet for Solana. And I'm a bit nervous right now, so I'm not the one with the best speech skills in my team, but it happens to be me here. And in my eyes, everybody are carrots right now. So and we are a mobile wallet, and we launched 3 months ago, and we have 150K downloads right now. And we are not the competitor with Phantom, because you simply can import your Phantom wallet to our apps to enjoy all types of features in our wallet. And there is an explainer video, and I would like to show you guys all the ideas of our app. After that, I will give a demonstrate of the app, so please play the video first. Thank you, guys. And also thank you to the tech team, because I'm the only person who will go to demonstrate the app today, so went through some problem there. Yeah, please.
Glad you came. Here comes a walkthrough of the renovated Slope wallet. Let's get the hang of it. Born in June 2021, Slope Finance has been dedicating to building the world's best mobile gateway for Solana ecosystem since its birth. Our first product, Slope Wallet, is simply not a mobile crypto wallet. Definitely, it contains all the basic functions, such as send and receive. You can check the balance of the different types of assets you have. Not only does the Slope wallet support the mainstream tokens from the Solana network, but it allows users to add their custom tokens by themselves. Besides, your NFT collectibles can all be displayed here. Noticeably, Slope Wallet offers something you cannot miss. Slope Browser. A dApp aggregator can truly facilitate the connection with other popular projects under different categories. For instance, Port Finance and Francium for DeFi, Metaplex and Rhodium for NFT, Star Atlas for GameFi. Doesn't it sound so cool? You can experience all of them at one go. Moreover, Swap as a wallet. Of course, you are allowed to swap your digital assets whenever there's a must or have. You can swap different token via the liquidity pool. Furthermore, Slope Nucleus, the heartbeat of Solana, ensures you can keep in sync with the rank, news, and activity on Solana. Anytime, anywhere. It's a place we display the latest and fresh information about Solana Eco. Slope NFT Market as a platform for NFT transactions. We provide users with a better transaction experience. Slope NFT Market can access you to the hottest NFT collectibles on the Solana network. At the same time, users can also find relevant information by searching for the name of the NFT or the name of the project. Let's stay ahead of the game. It is universally known that some users have multiple wallet accounts. In Slope Wallet, you can manage your wallets in My Profile, and you can make changes for some system functions in the wallet, such as changing the login password, changing the light mode, opening Face ID or Touch ID, etc. More to be explored, only on Slope Wallet. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah, thank you guys. So I'm going to do a demo of the app. Right, here's my phone right now. So we're on Minute, and so simply you guys can see we have send and receive and functions, and with different type of wallets. Right now I only have one wallet, and the second thing is we have NFT markets here. We built this with Metaplex and to be the first mobile NFT markets here in Solana, and we have a lot of features. So visualize management your NFTs, and also we have a ranks here, so you can see all types of Solana NFTs collectibles here, and you can see the rank by owners, ranked by TFVs, even ranked by the floor price of it. And you can simply type into any collectibles. And with the dashboards, it will show the price within 1 day and 1 week and even 1 month. And it can sort by the number of owners and sort by the number of tokens listed. And we also have the top 10 owners there. And you can even step into the owner's address and to see what else NFTs they have in their address. I think the internet is not very good right now. Anyway, and we also give the tag of the scammer address here, so people can see like which address it has a high possibility to be a scammer address. And beside this, and we also have like, let's step into one of the collectibles. Okay, with the list of tokens, you can rank those tokens, give them a filter of the backgrounds like blue and forest or whatever and green, and to sort it. And you can type, like multi, filters and to sort which NFTs you like. And we also have the rarities of the NFTs for all types of collectibles. So yeah, this is it. And for our NFT market, so our ambition is to lower the entry barrier for all non-crypto peoples. Since we are collaborating with Solana Labs right now, we are doing a pilot. It's to deliver USDC payment to one of the world's largest e-commerce. think about the scenario. If the e-commerce customer come into, they want to pay something with USDC and pop into our wallet, and they can see a whole NFT markets there. So it's give them access to all kind of collectibles there. So our logic is quite different from other wallets. So we will do a lot of efforts on user acquisitions, and we would like to share the traffic to all types of dApps in Solana ecos. So I'll show you again. Another column is a dApp browser. So this is our dApp browser. We've already connected with over 80 Solana projects. It's ranked by DeFi, NFT, and GameFis. So when people step into this wallet, they can see there are tons of interesting dApps. They can just simply, use their favorite dApps, for example, like Radium. So they just click it and go to Radium website, and they can just simply swap any assets with here, and it can connect wallets. It can connect all types of wallet, even like Phantom, Soulflare, etc. And yeah, there are a lot of things. And besides the dApp browser, and we have a token swap feature right now. It's only SPO token at this moment. Our new feature, our new version will be launched in the middle of next month. So it will be a cross-chain swap. So people can simply just swap your ETH or whatever. We will support ETH, we will support Terra, and we will support BSC and the next version. So people can swap their native tokens to SPO native tokens. So the cross-chain swap happened before our app they are all swapped from wrapped tokens to native tokens. So our solution is to swap native tokens to native tokens. This is another way to lower the entry barrier for like retail users, because they don't need to understand what's happening beneath this. We help them to change the wrapped tokens to native tokens. And the last one is a very interesting one. So this is, we call it Solana Nucleus. Actually, the name is from Solana Capital. They gave us an idea to have this name. So it's an aggregator. It's a one-stop aggregator of the whole, Solana eco informations. We have ranks here and all types of SPL tokens, and we have news here. It's about all the Solana eco news. So we have Solana today, and we have a lot of news, fundraising news, and new product and new features coming up. And also we have the activities, actually. We have the latest IDO information for different type of projects. And when you step into this column, and you can see where they did the IDO. And if it's ongoing one, you can simply just participate the IDO through this link. Yeah, here is it. The Goose FX, they're doing IDO. This one is done. And also we have like AMA things for all types of Solana eco projects, like Larix, like Francium. And if you get into this subpage, and you can see the links of the AMAs. So you can just get all the ideas, all the questions asked from the AMAs, and you can read it afterwards and to get more ideas about the projects there. So why we are doing this is just we would like the Solana user to get all the information, just one stop. They don't need to jump out of the app to go to Twitter or Discord or whatever Telegram group to get those informations. It's too many places. So they just need to use our mobile wallet to get those informations, and simply they can jump to the token swap page to buy those assets. Or if it's an NFT, and you can just jump into our NFT market to buy it. And if the NFT is from different projects or different collectibles in your wallet, happens in your wallet, you can just simply sell your NFTs in these markets. It's connect with Metaplex. So yeah, and I think that's it. This is a demonstration of that, and we are not only building the payment option for the e-commerce thing. We are also talking with several different type of Web2 companies. For example, Breakpoint. They have like 50 million users. They are a huge Web2 companies, and they would like to do tokenize, and they want to involve like crypto wallet. And we think they have a huge amount of users, and we can give them a very, very simple, straightforward, UI, UX to let their users to use, to trade cryptos and to buy NFTs, to get exposure of all types of information. So that is our ambition. And we have another innovation is to even lower the entry barrier for non-crypto peoples, is we are building, we're using like biometric status to generate and restore wallet. So people only can use their face or fingerprints, and they can generate a wallet. That will be a part of the C-phase. Since I try 100 times to explain to my family members, my non-crypto friends, what is DeFi, and you have to open a website in your laptop. They have no idea about that, and they also have no idea about what is C-phase to write it down. So they're we will give them a simple and straightforward option to do
Absolutely.
that.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for. It's going to bring about another whole level of app user adoption. Thank you so much for your presentation, Stella.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. So we've come to the end of our demo session today. We do have another demo session moderated by our very own Andrea from Solana Foundation. So join us then for an additional look into all of our ecosystem projects. So thank you once again to all of the developers that are building on Solana. We know the commitment. We know how much effort it takes to really work with teams and build something out. It's truly challenging. We know that. We respect it. And thank you so much. And I'll give it away to Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom, and all of the ecosystem companies that participated. Everybody new to Estufa, welcome. Come in. We have a very special presentation coming up next. We have the one and only Anatoly, and joining him is Brendan Ike, a man that almost needs no introduction. He is the co-founder and CEO of Brave and BAT, and previously was the CTO and CEO of the Mozilla Corporation. This man invented JavaScript and launched Firefox. Everybody, a very warm welcome to them both.
Thanks, Ryan.
Cool. How's it going?
It's awesome.
Great conference.
I know. Thank you. I'm really excited to be on stage here with you. You're like
same back.
One of my heroes. Like as a programmer, JavaScript is like a language that really revolutionized how we do application development, how we build. It's the foundation of the web, and I often think of Web3 really just being the web, just part of the bigger web.
Yeah, me too. That's how the web grows, by evolution. So I have a little presentation I can share with you if you can bring up the slides, and we can just chat about it. Got some good news. So we think the Web3 browser should be the gateway to 1 billion crypto users. And we are therefore integrating Solana into Brave as soon as we can. And here's the cool thing. This is like an evolutionary path. We're going to make it so any dApp that is Solana enabled, wherever other chains, EVM compatible or Ethereum, whatever, it supports. If it supports Solana as well, we'll make it use Solana by default. So dApp builders who build for Solana as well as other chains, in Brave it's going to use Solana. And that's going to just help, I think, pull all the dApps onto Solana.
Yeah. Super exciting.
You like?
Yeah, it's Wonderful, yeah.
Let's see what else. What do we like about Solana? We like NFT games. We like DeFi a lot. We want to make it easy for users to earn and get yield without having to be super expert or do a lot of complex operations. So we're going to work on building that probably in the first half of next year into the wallet so that you can just kind of robo-earn, robo-yield. And we want NFT galleries and NFT transactions to be super slick. I was inspired by the Jules Orbach's talk earlier today, right? And the demo earlier here with NFTs. There were several of them, actually. It's all good. We want as many NFT marketplaces integrated as we can, so that's on the agenda. And yeah, Radium is there, of course. Radium's still yielding good. Let's see, what else? On-ramps, I mean, the thing that we do now with basic attention token tends to have to settle on Ethereum, and it's going to cost you gas. And there are, our valued settlement partners like Gemini, Uphold, Bitflyer in Japan. But once we're on Solana, I suspect that BAT, which is already reflected through Wormhole, proxy through Wormhole, might just find it's better to settle on Solana. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
I'm giving you the softballs here. We really do want to get this out to all users. We think, whether you're, having a hard time in some part of the world where it's hard to get banks to let you save or borrow, or you're beyond banks, like a lot of us are or want to be, Solana is the way to do it. So, and I mentioned the auto earn already. I got ahead of myself, but I think this is going to be huge. It takes some skill. You got to make sure if you get on the wrong side of yield farming, you go somewhere where the grass is greener. But we'll make it as automatic and easy as possible, and it's just so much better on Solana. I'm making you blush. And yeah, the dApp ecosystem is growing, but if we do this Solana default on multi-chain dApps, I think we'll just pull every dApp that's really popular over that Brave users want, and I hope that's going to be every dApp. So here's more NFT marketplaces. There are lots of cool projects in crypto. So we're not doing only Solana. We have obviously Ethereum. We're going to do Bitcoin in the new wallet. It's coming up fast. It's in the Brave Nightly builds. And we might do other chains, but I think it's important to pick a chain as default. This is a lesson we learned the hard way with search engines, because when you make a search engine the default, first of all, you can get paid if you can get a deal. Not always true. And really, the user expects to just type keywords into the address bar and search. We want the wallet to have a fast, good default, and that's Solana. So enough said. And we're bringing it to mobile, too. This is important. I think a lot of fragmentation has occurred due to how wallets are split across mobile and desktop. We're seeing some good mobile first or mobile also wallets. We want to do it mobile and desktop, feature parity, evolve at the same time. And we're happy to do that with Solana as a partner. So the last bit of news is the BAT system is a triangular system that involves privacy-preserving ads. And users opt into it to get 70% of the gross revenue. What we've built so far has a part of our BAT ad system requiring us to verify things to be the trusted third party, which is a security hole. And so we've started a project called Themis and worked with several crypto projects to see if we could bring it to high-speed chains that can do things like you need smart contract systems for zero-knowledge proofs. You need some part of it in the browser because you're measuring attention. You don't want to put your detailed attention log on any blockchain, however fast, because it'll fingerprint you. So we're using black box accumulators in the browser with Themis, and we're then minting ZK proofs. And the cool thing about Solana is we can just put those on-chain. No aggregator, no trusted third party. So we're getting rid of ourselves. We're firing ourselves as what trusted third party. And that's something we're excited about.
And that's awesome. That was feels like 2 years of research, right? Like
yeah.
It took quite a while to get to that design.
And now it's going fast, I think. Now we've got good working relations with Solana, and we can crank out the Rust code, because we love Rust, because I was executive sponsor of Rust at Mozilla, so I have a tear in my eye to see my little babies all grown up. and Amazon's hired a bunch of the Rust core team. It's okay. They need jobs. But yeah, we want BAT to be fast, low fee, DeFi base pair, and for ads on Solana. So Brave and Solana are doing the new crypto and ad system, and it's going to be awesome. Thanks.
That's awesome. I'm you know, like huge fan of the web, huge fan of all the work that you guys have done in Brave. And I remember pre-mobile days, I was working on Brew, and I was trying to optimize the web on flip phones, and there was a brief moment where the iPhone came out, we had a browser, and it felt like the web has opened up. And then it kind of just got away from us.
That's right. Jobs said when he did the iPhone 1, he said the web finally works on a phone. And then the story I heard from somebody who would know is that they had to port a bunch of games, which were C++ or whatever, and they had to do native apps. And they never looked back after that. But I think the web can always catch up and should catch up. And Web3, if you have this sort of evolutionary path with dApps and dApp triggers from web pages, then you just evolve to it. You evolve into it.
Yeah, that to me is like the really exciting part, is there's now an opportunity to have cryptography power the next generation how web is monetized, whether it's through advertisement, like with zero knowledge proofs, or through direct payments and micropayments. Do you feel like, Apple's gonna crush us? Like just
People a few years ago were worried about this Facebook thing, Libra, now DM, and they got kind of crushed because some politicians hate them. But Apple is very cautious, and if they're doing anything with blockchains, it's a ways out, and then when they arrive, it's going to be like the diva at the party at midnight, like start the party now, and the booze has already run out. So we're going to drink all the booze first, right?
All right. Yeah, I'm down for that. What are some of the challenges with like building a browser for general consumers, but also with cryptography?
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem with browsers, is they are universal apps. You spend a lot of your digital life or online life in them. And so if you make the crypto stuff be this sort of expert-only area, or it's kind of scary, like I use wallet apps, I use hardware, like Ledger hardware wallets, but it's a little bit scary because you feel like did I forget my PIN, or did I have to reset it and do the word list? And there's some anxiety and fear of loss. We want to make crypto be positive sum. That's why the robo-earn is important to us. Just like with BAT private ads, you could get 70% of the revenue. So you're always kind of building up your assets as well as spending or sending them. And it should be slick. It should be for e-commerce. You can even do things like disintermediate Amazon. I won't give away all my secrets, but we think we can do that without having a bunch of JavaScript, user scripts to attack every merchant checkout flow. We think there's a way to get into the interchange charge and do it. And crypto everywhere, right? It should be slick, should be easy, should be comfortable, make you feel like you're going to win, not lose.
What about custody and keys, and like how do I get my parents to understand this stuff?
Yeah, it's really a little different, but we're looking at Taurus. We're looking at various ideas for backing up your key that don't just put it on paper and word list in a safe, which we've all been through. In some ways, the old web went with username and password and had to add a second factor, which often had to be a temporary access number generator on your phone. So at that point, you're almost as complex as self-custody. I would say you just have this more conventional recovery path. Like you lose your phone, you know your email, you can try to prove that you're the same person to Coinbase or whoever. But I think self-custody has a sort of complementary role, and we want both. We want people to use self-custody and be comfortable with it. So we're looking at all these usability challenges, and we think we can get it just almost as good. And then, unfortunately, the regulators insist if you want to do fiat on-off, you're going to go through a custodian.
Of course. Well, the challenges, that's the exciting part. No one has figured this out yet, and we're going to dive right in, right, and see how can we actually scale crypto to the general public.
Make it easy for your parents.
Yeah. Yeah, well, would love to see it. What do you guys see as kind of like the tension between, the App Store on the mobile device and the mobile web?
Yeah, discoverability is always a problem, and we don't want these kind of brutal curators like Apple. So having lots of stores is good, but then you have the need for like a search engine, which Brave now has, which is a private engine, and it also involves users opting into building the index incrementally. That's the web discovery project. So we're going to aim, because we're very crypto first, and our ad sales teams, one of whom is here, always looks at crypto options and NFT options. We're going to aim at making our search engine best for crypto. It already uses, I think, CoinGecko charting, and it's still in beta, but we're working out all the kinks. So I think search, the good old search we remember from 2004 when Google was great, needs to come back, and it needs to be the way you find stuff in marketplaces and crypto exchanges.
That's awesome. What kind of information do you think users would want out of a crypto-first search engine or like curated environment that's different from the traditional web?
Yeah, search always gets into, is somebody trying to SEO you and compete for keywords? We're aware of this problem, and there's no silver bullet. But we think with crypto, you might actually have a better chance at mechanizing this and having a fair playing field, an automated system for finding the best, lowest fees and the best yields.
Cool. Is there like hope for like a decentralized search engine?
Yeah, so I had a friend who was involved with pre-search, Rich Skrenta, but I think he's not. And pre-search looks like it's running a bunch of nodes that scrape Google, which Google does not like. And if they're running on co-load IPs, Google's going to shut them down or use their anti-bot team to take them out. We're building a legitimate search engine, but we can't decentralize the algorithm easily, because search is sharing queries, looking for some kind of objective best results, like page rank, the eigenvalues of the random walk. And decentralizing that is a research problem as far as I know. But we have an active team, we're evolving search, and we need your help, because we're trying to crowdsource the incremental indexing of the web. We're not trying to index everything from 1998 on. That only Google can do that. And hats off to them, but their time is passing.
When I was, like growing up as an engineer, the web was just starting. I was really passionate about Linux, and I had this dream of a, Microsoft free personal computer. Are we gonna have? It feels like the Web3 is potentially a dream of like a, like ad exchange free, like that like parasitic Google free web.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
If you don't collect the data, you won't go wrong that way. There's still other ways that the central powers can turn on their users and take advantage of them. But I think there is, and that means ultimately you might need hardware that's sort of indie or that's user first. And Brave's not capitalized to do this yet, but I know people, including friends from Firefox OS, which actually, after it folded at Mozilla, continued in KaiOS. And there's an open source lineage that you can trace back. And people at Qualcomm, we both know,
of course, yeah,
were working on it at the time. So I think there's a chance for a new open source OS that has Web3 and none of this Java or Swift native stuff. And JavaScript, Web3 all the way down.
Are we gonna end up building a phone?
Brave OS. I don't know. Have to raise some more capital.
Yeah, that's a way to nerd snipe me for a couple of years.
But people need independent hardware that serves their interest first.
For
Absolutely.
sure. Yeah, it does. It always feels like that's a really tough challenge. But every 2 years it gets easier and easier. Like hardware gets cheaper and cheaper, and the tools get better and better.
And then Apple has something new and shiny that the commodity hardware can't match for another year or two. But that's just the nature of the game. Right. So I'm sure we'll have iPhones, but we can probably have bat phones too. Solana phones.
The bat phone. I love that. The bat phone sounds really cool. As you guys see the Web3 evolving, I think there's this, from your presentation, NFTs were such a huge focus as well. Do you think this is the entry point for like, the metaverse is what people call it, or like that like really interactive, rich environment with ownership of the stuff around you?
Yeah, I think you have to keep running at these problems. And usually if you're a startup and the timing isn't right or something goes wrong, you run out of capital and then the investors reset or maybe they try again. With crypto, we have this great ability to just keep leveling up. So we're seeing, Bitcoin, now we're seeing smart contracts on Ethereum, now we're seeing Solana. And as you level up, you can start to do some of these things that seemed hard before. Like, you want some kind of cryptographic proof of ownership. I think one of the demos talked about this. You want to make sure that somebody doesn't copy the pixels. And if you get into VR, there's been interesting research on this, and my friends at Otoy have done some work on this. You can actually watermark in a way that's indelible. And if somebody copies your art and tries to remove the watermark, they degrade the quality. There's no way to, because it's been sort of convolved with the luminance and the chrominance. So I have hopes for this being useful in games and connected verses. And to me, that's the metaverse. It's not going to be something centrally planned in Menlo Park by Lieutenant Commander Data.
I hope not. What I see out of like the gaming companies that we talk to is that, especially the ones that are crypto focused, is they want to build browser first games. Everyone that I talked to had this idea that as soon as you open the page, you jump right into the game. There's no sign up, there's no friction. Your wallet is your identity, and you're just exactly where you left off.
That took a lot of work at Mozilla, by the way. We did ASM.js, and that led to WebAssembly, and you could show games in the store, you can start playing them, and then you just convert. I think it's a great model.
Do you feel like mobile is expressive enough for that, or is the difference between like iOS and Android and desktop is too hard to actually make that work?
There's certainly a difference. Like even with the latest chipsets, you're just not as fast. You have less bandwidth all around. But games can scale down because the viewport's smaller. There's hope that you can use the kind of tricks that we see with the remote rendering, cloud rendering. So I think mobile is the future, but I heard this like 12 years ago. People would say around Silicon Valley, mobile's the future, and then they would say that means there's no desktop, and that is very false. Everybody with a laptop or any big enough screen and a keyboard is still very high value, and that means the economics there don't go away. It just doesn't grow as fast.
I mean, that's true. Like if you look at the growth of the Solana ecosystem, a lot of the users are basically desktop only.
Yep.
And that to me says that a lot of folks, maybe there was a switch during COVID where we went from being so much in mobile to where we're staring at screens again. A
bit of that. I mean, you go to India and a lot of people are mobile only, but you need both. And I think as mobile gets stronger, you're just going to see more parity. You won't see this need for apps, which is often artificial. It's like holding the browser back, like Apple's like sandbagging Safari a little bit. This is what my friends at Google, or one of them who went to Microsoft, always accuse Apple of, and it's not wrong. You got to give the browser its due, and then it can compete with native better.
So, got to ask you about languages. How do you see smart contract development in the future as somebody that had incredible depth and understanding how application development happens on the web?
Yeah, I think the thing you're seeing with TypeScript, especially with large teams, is more confirmation that you need some kind of proof system, or it could be just a warning system, but it's based on model checking. Often it could be based on higher level models than you can express in sound type system, which is something where there's just this sort of timeless world of types that's essentially syntactically checked and prevents bad things from happening at runtime. You need dynamic systems, dynamic code, JavaScript, and these static checkers. And you get best of both worlds if you have really good ones. So I remember at Mozilla, we were investing in model checkers for C++ because it's memory unsafe. And you could build these higher level checks that knew about sort of security properties you wanted to enforce. And I think this is what you're seeing with smart contracts. I was talking to somebody I met at a hotel bar about this because it's still a very fruitful area that's had good research in sort of computer science, programming language theory, and it hasn't always been brought to the programming masses like it should. There were companies like Dawson Engler's Coverity and others like that. The compilers themselves grew the ability to do plugins for static analysis, and now LLVM is there.
Do you think that smart contract development needs to have a high-level, kind of easy-to-use language environment, or can it kind of be driver code?
Yeah, exactly. Driver code in the era of C was the worst code in the kernel, right?
Driver code with Rust is a little bit less frightening.
In fact, a friend of mine who was at Microsoft at the time went to Mozilla and has his own startup now, did at Microsoft a checker for driver C code, which he could skirt the halting problem and kind of statically reason about it and say, this is garbage driver code, send it back to the vendor. But yeah, I think you don't want to have happy, fun JavaScript looseness if there's big money at stake. So I think it's important to have the right tools with the right static and dynamic checking.
Do you think smart contract development is strictly financial, or are we going to see like things that are not financial that you can actually?
You'll see things that are not obviously financial, but they'll turn into reputation in a game or gifting, and those tend to matter too. So you still don't want too many dynamic errors. So
That's true.
I'm still a fan. I talked about this in my chapter in Coders.org. I'm still a fan of static, even if it's on sounds, semi-static checking.
What do you guys see as like the opportunity for us to grow crypto to 100 million users, like actual signers?
Yeah, I'd like to get Brave to that scale in a year or two. It depends on everybody here and others. It also, I hate to say it, depends on the nation states of the world not, doing something adversarial. But I think given the state of the world, not a great state, but there will always be options to do things with crypto. The internet routes around censorship, right? And that's true in the Web 2 and the Web 3 worlds. And it's true with blockchains. You still have concerns. Do you have to fork to undo the censorship? But at least you have options.
Do you think, like, what kind of applications do you envision will actually drive that growth,
I think at first it's going to be people using crypto for payments and for DeFi. And, some leading edge of that user base will be getting more sophisticated and doing other things. But just having, things like gift cards where we often find that they're useless points, even if we can use them or Congress passed a law that they don't expire, we still just don't use them. We should have much more liquidity. We should have liquidity across all kinds of assets. And this is where you start talking about tokenized securities and can you have primary and secondary liquidity for companies? I think we've all, if you're as old as me, you all had a tiny piece of some startup that went sideways for 10 years and then sold, and you couldn't trade it easily. And you might have wanted to do that because you might have been squeezed out when it sold. So there's lots of room for blockchains to solve these problems. I think in general, connecting people more directly, getting rid of these officious or censorious intermediaries. It's a lot of room for application.
In this, like, I guess new evolution of the web, I often describe crypto as a fully connected network, as opposed to like a social graph like on Facebook.
Yes.
Do you think that's true? Like, do you think we're gonna enter a stage where, I am effectively with my cryptographic signatures, I'm in this true global peer-to-peer environment?
I hope so. I think that's. I showed at Web Summit last week, I showed the slide with the correct diagram, which is more like a mesh for decentralized, and the incorrect one, which sometimes is called decentralized, which is really distributed, but it's mostly tree structured, or if it's a graph, it has a dominating spanning tree. That's Google, that's Amazon, right? So with projects like Helium, with WebRTC making it so you can sort of make connections into the endpoint instead of only out. In the old days, in the 90s, we could only make TCP connections out from the browser. I think we're heading toward this world. We have to build it iteratively and collaboratively. We have to get around the concrete firewall problems that WebRTC mostly got around. It's still a little dodgy. And I think that is the future. I think we should all have Helium nodes if we can. I'm a fan of the project.
That's awesome. I mean, the idea of like decentralized browsing on an open source phone connected via an open network.
Low raw radio.
Run by the people accessing Solana. That would blow my mind.
It sounds too good to be true, but I think it could be true, especially if we build it carefully and quickly enough and get it out there and make it usable, which is why I've always wanted to make Brave be about crypto. Even when we started using Bitcoin for our prototype, it was clear once you shield the user by blocking all those trackers, you break all the economics that pays advertising money into the publishers after taking a big slice out for the middlemen like Google. And if you cut that out, how are you going to reconnect it? It's crypto. Peer-to-peer.
All right, let's do it.
Awesome.
I'm excited. So thank you, Brendan. Thank you so much for
being
being here, for working with us.
Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Thank you to Brendan Ike for joining and dropping some huge news on the Estufa Fria growth stage. Everybody, we have an exciting panel coming up next. We have a few people from the Solana ecosystem going to be talking about TikTok, social media, and bringing apps to 1 billion daily active users. You heard it here first. We have 4 people: Andrew from Republic Crypto, Ranil from Audius, Sumit from Chingari, and Tanmay from Super Team DAO. They're coming up in a second. They're going to be discussing a few items about the new Audius partnership, Chingari's great fundraise, and their massive growth over the past few months. They're sponsoring the closing party. And how we can bring Solana to people around the world. We good, everyone? We're getting set up. Okay, they're joining us now. Everybody, big round of applause for our next panel. Bring them up. Come on, guys.
Test, test, test. Everyone hear me all right? Yeah? Awesome. Super excited to be up here with some old friends and some new friends. We're going to dive into a series of questions around social media, social tokens, DAOs, etc. But first, I think a couple intros. So I'm Andrew from Republic Crypto. You probably know us as a kind of a crypto investment banking framework. We work with a number of these guys here. But we'll go ahead and go through it. Sumit, you want to start?
Hey guys, I'm the CEO of Chingari. We are like India's TikTok with 30 million monthly active users. We recently moved from Web2 as a Web2 company to Web3. Excited to be here.
Hey everyone, I'm Ronil from Audius. Audius is a digital streaming service that connects fans directly with artists and exclusive new music built on Solana. And today we see about 7 million, just under 7 million people using Audius every month. Around 200,000 artists have uploaded so far.
Hey guys, I'm Tanmay. I'm a comedian, YouTuber, investor, and building a DAO in India. And I think Sumit and I are very bullish on India, and hopefully the next billion users will come from here. I'm excited. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. Well, we'll just hop on into it. How do you foresee the transition from Web 2 to Web 3, and how can your companies and Solana help facilitate that transition?
Sure. So as a Web2 company, like a typical Web2 company, the team was deciding everything. Now we just launched a token called Asgari. We also did a public sale on Republic, a successful public sale. We raised close to $20 million there. And now we have a DAO, so all the creators, become decision makers, and they decide like how Chingari will grow. They decide on the future roadmap of the product, of the asset. So it's very democratic. It's like giving power back to your community. I think nothing better than that for Chingari.
Yeah, so I think at Audius, we've always felt strongly that in this transition from Web 2 to Web 3, it's really important to make Web 3 products feel and look and be approachable in the same way that they expect their normal Web 2 counterparts to be. So we've always kind of tried to go to very great lengths to structure that user experience in a way that users can approach and find easy. The majority of our users don't know there's any decentralized backing of any sort to Audius. Yet the way Audius is set up, like our company doesn't need to exist. It would all keep working without us. So being able to provide the value propositions around decentralization without beating your users upside the head with the fact that the product is decentralized every day, right? Not forcing them to download a Chrome extension and purchase some asset from an exchange to be able to use your product for a first time. I think that's the road to 1 billion users, and that's how those of us who are building early right now in crypto and at that forefront of consumer adoption in crypto can ease the transition.
I mean, I use Audius. I just found out that it's decentralized. I had no idea.
That's awesome. These guys are incredibly humble. They are doing some incredible things for the industry, and in particular on Solana themselves. So I'm going to kind of give a little bit of some bragging opportunities here. So Audius has done a tremendous job of abstracting the blockchain layer away from product, right? Which is an incredibly hard vehicle to do. Do you think that's been like a key to the overall success of the business, and really, like, how do you expand on that now?
Yeah, we certainly believe so, that it has been the key to the growth and adoption that we've seen. I think it's users shouldn't need to understand the full technical stack of the products that they use, right? How many of you all can say you know how Facebook or Twitter are built top to bottom, right? Like, doesn't matter. Service does a thing for you that's useful. Same thing for products like us. Sure, maybe some of your early users might come because of some of those marketing things, et cetera. But ultimately, users are looking for your product to do a job for them. And if your product can do that job well and can do it better than other things can, like, great, they'll use it. You know, from our perspective, the value around decentralization comes from the artist's ability to own the relationship with their fans, to be able to message to them, distribute to them anything that they would like, and to get back all of the data that those fans generate around that relationship and those interactions, right? Being able to port those relationships between different kinds of experiences. And folks get that, and that's great. They don't need to know, you know, how every single layer of everything works if the product can do those things well for them.
So what's the next phase, right? So that's, you guys are doing that now, killing it. It's amazing. Everyone on this panel uses it. How do you expand that? Like, how do you drive that kind of to the next level?
Yeah, so the continuing growth around Audius, I mean, the growth so far has kind of blown away our whole team, and I think the whole community around it. So this time a year ago, Audius saw about 500,000 people using it on a monthly basis. Today we're nearing 7 million in a 12-month period, which has been pretty incredible, right? I think the chapters ahead to unlock, you know, 70 million, 700 million users, that's where things will continue to go, are in continuing to provide utility to the community around Audius and giving them the tools to grow their audiences, which ultimately funnels back into growing the total aggregate audience around Audius, right? That network effect has kind of taken over at this stage for, you know, both of our products, right? And the nature of the game changes quite a bit, right? It's from our perspective, the next phases of providing value to our users revolve around helping them monetize those relationships and helping our artists do all of the things that they have never gotten to do on other platforms, right? That being able to connect those relationships they have with their fans across everything from, you know, like ticketing or like the street teams that they organize around live shows, giving the developer ecosystem around Audius the tools to build all these things that you know, one product can't serve all of. So
amazing. I think 500,000 to 7 million in 1 year. That's incredible. And so where Audius and Renil's team, they started crypto native, Sumit and Chingara, you guys started on the other side of the fence, right? You've got a massive Web3 community engaging with this app over an hour a day, I think is what your stats are. You just flipped Facebook in the Google App Store for most downloads for this month, which is incredible. How are you looking to onboard these active users into the role of participating into a DAO?
Sure. I think the value proposition that the Web3 ecosystem brings, where we tell our creators that, look, now you own your own content, or so basically every content that you upload on Chingari, every short video you upload on Chingari becomes an NFT on Solana, and then these NFTs go to a Gari marketplace which can be bought, sold, and traded. So when you upload content on Instagram or TikTok, you are just giving your content away to them, and they monetize it, and you don't get nothing. I mean, the value proposition where you are actually sharing value back to the creators is what will enable them to be part of decision making. And it's like an incentive that, okay, I own my content, I am part of the DAO, and like my vote counts. So we will have like an interesting voting panel where all the Gari token holders will be able to put on-chain proposals, and this is all the Chingari user base. And they will be able to vote, like all the Gari users will be able to vote. So I think the community will decide, and they will see value in this. And I see the future of social, like Chingari has this opportunity where we can actually build the future of social media equal to the future of crypto. So like we could actually bring 1 billion users to crypto first. I mean, hundreds of millions of users in India will be actually minting Gari tokens before they even see a Bitcoin or Ethereum. I mean, Gari would be their first crypto, which they can use within the app. So that's like a really, really exciting opportunity, and it's like a huge opportunity that we have. So
yeah. No, I love that coming at it from both angles, which I think is absolutely essential to the long-term viability of the space, in particular in the social token side. At Super Team DAO, the goal of $1 billion DAO is super ambitious, right?
Yeah.
So
it's the first time I'm vocalizing it, that we want to build India's first $1 billion DAO.
It's recorded now, so now you can't undo it.
Yeah.
Where do you see DAO's role in kind of ascending economies? I mean, India is a great example.
I think people yet aren't seeing the full potential of DAOs. I'm going to give the Super Team DAO's example, right? So the way to enter the DAO is, at least for us, we want to be a work DAO or a service DAO, right? So the way to enter now is we partner up with Solana ecosystem projects, and we put up a bounty, right? Hey, write a deep dive about this project, or hey, can you redesign the website for this? And people apply, and then we give them money for having won the bounty, and then they make it to the DAO. So right now the DAO has 80 level 2 members, which is people who have shown proof of work, and then they've entered, right? So essentially for these guys, because India is ascending economy, they're currently making money in fiat, but post 6 p.m. in the evening, they have a day job, and now they group together and they're working on newer projects. People, different Solana ecosystem projects, they come in and they give something called an Instagrant. Which is anybody can come, pitch an idea, and then get a grant from one of the projects. And they make money in capital assets, which until now was not possible. Already, a few members of the DAO are making more money from the DAO than their actual job. And we think that India it's a talent hub, right? Like you throw a stone out of your window, it's going to hit 5 engineers. They'll actually tell you threw the stone wrong and all kinds of stuff, right? So we think that we're so bullish on Indian talent that I think it's only a matter of time before Indian talent is a part of multiple DAOs and working for global companies and making money through capital assets in a way that they never did. So that's one of the reasons why we're very bullish on Indian talent, and that's why I think we will be the first $1 billion DAO from India.
Amazing. And what are some of the other markets you think that are really important to that vehicle?
I'm sorry.
Some of the other markets that are really important to that vehicle, even outside of that.
So other markets?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm just so focused on India right now that I got blinkers on. But I think the principles that make this that make me so bullish on India, it applies to other ascending countries as well. I think we will see a pattern. And if there's anybody else who's trying to build a DAO in other countries, happy to chat about what we're seeing and some of the best practices.
Amazing. Pushing DAU overall and pushing the Web3 kind of agenda obviously is a huge goal of everyone in this crowd and everyone at the conference. What would you say are some of those common pitfalls that you see managing a Web3 community? What can everyone here learn from you guys that have been kind of pushing that needle? Maybe Ranil.
Yeah, I think he started as a Web3 company, so.
Yeah. So we've been Web3 native, I guess, since day one. Even the first public version of Audius was fully decentralized. I think the one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen others continue to make, and we made early on too, was not giving the community the structure and information and tools that they need to do their jobs best. But more importantly than that, like giving them the empowerment to create those things for themselves, right? Creating the expectation that there's a place for anyone that wants to join your community and contribute and create value. And there are kind of ways for them to level up through that process. That's how a number of our core team members have come to the project, was through joining the Discord one day and starting to engage. And there's a guy named Michael Cullen that runs community at Audius now, who found us through that. So I think we have become much more thoughtful as a community around how to approach these things, and that is the coolest part about Audius today, right? Is that power is no longer in our hands or any individual's hands, right? The Audius DAO and the broader community of folks engaging with and earning the token are in the driver's seat. And the best we can do is to help suggest structure and see where they will embrace it, right? And that's kind of the key. Is being community first doesn't mean that you just ignore all the learnings of the last 50 years of how to build communities, right? Like structure is important, but you also cannot declare that structure by fiat. You need to create the place and the space for the community to create that themselves.
Sure. I mean, so for us, like we had a very successful Web2 app. And the users, like the typical problem for us is there is a large community, but they are not crypto native. Like 30 million monthly active users, probably 1% to 2% of them actually understand what is crypto. And these are the people who are most vocal right now. So from this 2% to 80% or 90%, making our community crypto native and making them understand what is crypto and Web3 and DAOs. I think that is the biggest challenge for Chingari. Like educating the Indian users or global users, like whenever we launch globally, educating non-crypto users who just use a short video app and start making money on it through crypto. Making them realize that you have voting rights, governance rights, and this token that you are earning by making videos can actually be sold in an exchange. This is like a massive work or educational work or job. I mean, I think that's the main challenge. I think we can easily build product. We have community. We can build that. Educating the community about crypto and maybe taking them from a non-crypto user to a crypto native community is, I think, the biggest challenge for Chingari going forward.
But Sumit, I think we should be fairly optimistic. We're one of the biggest democracies in the world. If there's one thing we know, it is how to vote.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is this something that you've been also dealing with, putting this DAO together, especially particularly at the size?
I think the problems with on the DAO side of things is, of course, there's the regulation and the legal aspect of things. Then there was payments, right? For me, in the DAO, like if there's one dashboard metric that I want to optimize for is how much money am I able to make for the folks in the DAO. So I think payment infrastructure is coming in, DAO tooling, we're speaking to so many different protocols in the ecosystem to figure that out. So there's not one single problem that feels like this is going to be an issue because for everything, the solutions almost seem like that they're figured out. But yeah, I think as long as we're able to figure out how to enable leaders that emerge from the community themselves, how to make them earn more money, we should be okay.
Awesome. The word creator economy gets thrown around quite a bit, right? That's a super hot term right now, and I'd love to have a really clear vision of what that looks like to you in a Web3 world, both from a short and a long-term perspective, because there's a path, right? I don't think that we can leapfrog to the end. So I'd love to see how you guys are thinking right now, because you're really leading the charge.
You want to start with that?
Yeah, sure. I can kick that off. We've felt very strongly that over time, that kind of the vision for the future that Audius has is one where artists and fans are able to interact directly with one another, consume services and experiences from one another, and to do so without the burden of intermediaries controlling those relationships, take rates by those intermediaries, reducing the efficiency of the market and whatnot. And so what the creator economy trend is kind of speaking towards is more generally across creative areas, are creators of all kinds, so artists are one of those, but so too could the person running a paid email newsletter or something like that. Folks are having more sovereignty over their audience and more control over that audience. I think where crypto comes in here and where Audius sees the decentralized aspect of the product being so important is that the end stage, the logical end stage of creators vertically integrating their fan relationships, their distribution, is them actually owning the distribution channels and tools themselves, right? Owning the ability to access those fans in such a way that it can't be taken away from them. And that's why we felt it was so important for the creators on Audius to also own the capital that backs Audius and to have control of the way that Audius evolves and grows over time. And I think that key aspect is really what makes Web3 and decentralized products different from the Web2 counterparts that have preceded all of us, is that for the first time, the creators of content that actually make these networks valuable not just have a seat at the table, they own the table itself, right? And creating the structures for those folks to earn that capital over time pays itself back to the network in such a profound way, right? Where all of the users that rely on these distribution tools around Audius, for example, are contributing back to the network far more than they are getting from it in terms of the ownership that they get. Like, there is an opportunity to grow the pie for everyone here.
So for Chingari, I think creators are the core of our product. Creators create content, short video content on Chingari, and that is the core of our existence. Users come to watch these short videos. The entire business model of Chingari eventually will be around creator economy, but not ads. So Chingari will never run ads. We won't be showing your newsfeed full of ads. It will all be Web3 business models. We are very particular about how creators engage with their fans or how creators own their content. Like I was giving an example of the NFT marketplace. So all your content becomes NFT on Solana, and then they get bought, sold, and traded. There are a whole lot of creator economy features that we are building around creators. So users will be able to tip the creators or unlock content on Chingari app, or get on a video call or get a video message with the creator, all powered through Gari tokens. If you are on Instagram, you have 1 million followers, and they message you, you don't even care to reply. But on Chingari, you could just take someone, or you could be a staker of a creator, and if he becomes really, really popular, you will earn a social APY. So for the first time, we are building staking on social platforms or social media. So the entire business model of Chingari will be around Web3 models and not on ads. I think creators are central part of our product, our community, and everything that we are building is around creator economy.
What is something you would say to creators that are considering, maybe moving to your platform or working on both platforms? What's something that you would say to them so they can understand the value of moving that audience?
Absolutely. It's a very easy decision. On one platform, let's say you create videos on Instagram or TikTok, all you get is views and likes. What's the value of just views and likes? And if you look at the economic model, less than 0.001% of creators actually make any real money on Instagram or YouTube as influencers. Whereas on a platform like Chingari, you will earn from day zero. As a Chingari creator, we incentivize you with Gari tokens to create videos right away. So it's an easy decision. A platform which pays you or incentivizes you to use it, like what Axie Infinity has done for gaming and changed the lives of millions of Southeast Asians. We are exactly trying to do same, but on social media. So I think for creators, it's a no-brainer.
Would you echo the same, or would you say even there's an additional value proposition associated with being an audience, content provider?
Yeah, I think actually I don't disagree, but I think we would frame things actually in the opposite ordering, which is the first value prop that folks come to Audius with, what we'll typically talk through with an artist. Typical artist who has, say, like 2, 3, 4 million monthly listeners on a centralized platform, their percentage of their fans that they are actually able to reach with information or offers or anything else through Instagram, Twitter, their email lists, it's like 1 to 2%. That's like insane to think about, right? If you have millions of people listening to you and you can reach like 50 to 100,000 of them, maybe on a good day, that's always where we start. We say, like, if you could build scalable distribution where you actually own the relationships with those fans, there's so much more that you could be doing with them, right? And that's kind of the entry point into all of these amazing value propositions that you can get around decentralization. And once folks are already using Audius and starting to see some of that value come back to them in terms of what they're able to do on the fan engagement side, it's, oh, by the way, you're also earning ownership in this platform, in the process, and in this tool chain, and you actually have a say in and control of how this evolves over time. And yeah, we found that ordering to be much more interesting to artists because typically creators are looking for audience, and if they're not using something for audience, they're using it because it gives them some new, novel, different way to engage with their existing audience, right? So having an incentive for folks to bring their existing audience to Audius, because the value propositions around Audius mean that a fan on Audius is worth more than a fan on other platforms. That's kind of the first, the first step that gets the snowball rolling and growing.
It's crazy. It's so insane because I make content on YouTube, right? I am unable to have a one-on-one conversation with someone who's paying me on YouTube as a member. Like, that's still not possible. Like, it's insane that I have someone's wallet address that I can probably airdrop something on just because they follow me. That's pretty insane. I think one aspect of that creators haven't thought about, there's the creator economy buzzword became really popular. There was this one article about 1,000 true fans, right? And that's what got everyone thinking. And I think what Web3 and crypto does is it actually supercharges that even further. For example, right? India is a daily active user country, right? We're not a revenue per user country, right? So a lot of creators here, they make a lot of money through branded content. That's primarily the main source of income. Now imagine if a creator like me, I come out and say, hey, here are 5 NFTs, right? Each NFT is one piece of brand content I'll do, and these are the only 5 that I do every year, right? My fans know I do brand content all the time. They're kind of tired of it. They'll probably just buy this NFT and just sit on it, saying 5 brands are going to come their way, and they're going to suddenly own a tradable asset. This is something that I'm actively considering doing. Creators don't think about dynamic pricing. Right, they often, right now, a lot of creators are looking at, hey, here's a PFP project, here's some art. But I think dynamic pricing is something that you just need one king to try it out for the first time, and all of a sudden, everybody will start doing it. So Logan Paul, if you're listening, please do this quickly so everybody else can do it.
I mean, it's continually fascinating in the blockchain space. There's just so many ways to approach the problem, right? And there's so many different solutions. In particular, Solana creates really great roadmaps to attack it from different vectors. When we look at DAOs, I believe you all kind of look at DAOs a little bit differently, right? Again, same thing, you're attacking it from different vectors, which is great. So I'd love to, if you could share your approach to DAOs and how it's pivotal to your long-term gains.
Oh, I think I already explained. We're going to be a work DAO. I mean, as a creative person, I've never had a job, so to say, right? I've always been a freelance creative person, right? But I meet creative people all the time who are stuck at jobs, and I always ask them saying, what's the ideal day for you? It's to wake up, have your own dashboard of gigs that are available for you to do, and then you pick and choose, work at your own time. Everybody should work like a lion, right? Which is you sprint for a long time, and then you relax, and you eat, and then you sprint again. That's how creative people like to work. And I think most people should work like that. I think DAOs will enable that. So I think anything that enables people to do that in their professional lives, I think that model will work for a work DAO. I'll leave it to these gentlemen to speak about their respective models.
Sure. So in our case, it's a creator economy thing. All the creators who own Gari tokens, they have decision-making power within the DAO. And we truly feel, I think, creators who are central to the Chingari economy, they should have the power to drive how and what Chingari becomes 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line. So in our case, it's pretty clear, like we want to give back the power to the creators and the users. And DAO is one model or the one way to do that. And I think that's a fantastic way to involve your user base, to involve your creator base in day-to-day decision making for Chingari and Gari.
Running low on time, so I'm just going to fire one more quick thing out. You've all been making big splashes, big announcements, really doing work for all of us to help move the whole needle forward. Anything in particular that you really kind of want to highlight to the crowd here and the digital audience at large?
Sure. So Chingari is hiring across the board. If you are a programmer, UX guy, we just raised a ton of money. We are building the next version of TikTok, the Web3 version of TikTok. It's a very interesting project. Feel free to reach out to me at sumit@chingari.io. I'm very active on Twitter. Maybe DM me on Twitter. Excited to work with folks who want to change, social media or Web3 or get the first billion DAOs on a Web3 project. If you are looking to be a part of such a project, feel free to reach out.
Yeah, I think same ask for us, specifically if you're a Rust developer and wanting to work on Solana things. We're particularly interested in talking to you. Other thing I would mention, I think we as a community and ecosystem, I think haven't finished wrapping our heads around yet what tools like Solana are going to enable, right, when transactions are effectively free and can be done at mass scale. A product like Audius wouldn't be able to operate at the scale that it does without Solana, and I'm very excited to see the other things that this tool chain enables. So I think there's so many cool use cases that we've just never been able to explore before.
Not to be the cliche YouTuber, but do check out the Super Team podcast on YouTube. We've had Raj, Anatoly, Sumit, and a lot of Brandon from Phantom. We've had a lot of cool founders from the ecosystem on the podcast, and those 3 words: like, share, and subscribe.
Awesome, guys! Round of applause for these guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, man.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you to everyone that joined for that panel. It was a great discussion. Up next, we have a very special talk from a person from Star Atlas, going to be discussing about the future of virtual economies. We have Jason Silva, who is going to be joining us and discussing about all of the exciting stuff in the Star Atlas multiverse and what they have coming. Up next. Without further ado, Jason.
Thanks, man. What's up, guys? How's everyone doing today? Just as a quick show of hands, who here is familiar with Star Atlas? Okay, that's very exciting. Good to hear. Well, my name is Jason Silva, and my background is actually in television. I hosted a TV show called Brain Games on the National Geographic Channel. And I'm immensely passionate about technology and about disruption and about human imagination and human enterprise and what becomes possible on the back of disruptive technologies. Now, I first connected with the folks at Star Atlas when we collaborated together to launch some NFT posters to basically get people excited about Star Atlas, which I believe exists at the intersection of space exploration and human imagination. Now, for the few people that don't know what Star Atlas is, it is a futuristic space exploration game, a fully realized game world built on the Solana blockchain, something that's only possible because of the Solana blockchain. And within this metaverse, people will be able to own assets, spaceships, resources. They'll be able to trade, sell, grow wealth, and explore the universe. And that's what really got me excited about what these guys are doing. Now, I actually think that what's happening here, and the reason that we're calling this event Breakpoint, is because it kind of feels like we're at a threshold crossing. What's happening right now with blockchain and cryptocurrency is simply the next wave in sort of an exponential disruption of society, a sort of game-changing singularity of sorts. And so what I'd like to do today is talk to you a little bit about what I might call the big picture of what's going on here, like where this all begins and where this all is going, right? Because I feel like there's been a lot of technical discussions about what's happening with blockchain and cryptocurrency, but as an artist working and collaborating with Star Atlas, I'm interested in the bigger story of where technology meets human imagination. So for me, this all begins with a passion for human creativity. This all begins with a passion for human imagination, and this has turned into a passion for technology, because I believe that technology is the embodiment of human imagination in the world. I believe that technology is the literalization of human creativity in the world. I believe that technology is how we turn the human mind inside out and how we impregnate the world with mind. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the cognitive philosophers David Chalmers and Andy Clark. They wrote a seminal essay called The Extended Mind Thesis, and in it, they describe technology as a scaffolding of the mind and one that extends our thoughts, our reach, and our vision. And it has always been so. If you go back 100,000 years to the savannas of Africa, when early hominids first picked up a stick on the ground and we used that stick to reach a fruit on a really high tree branch, we've been using our tools, we've been using our sticks, we've been using our instruments to extend our reach and to transcend our boundaries, right? As the philosopher Marshall McLuhan said, first we build the tools and then the tools build us. From the beginning, every technological innovation, every technological disruption has been a kind of breakpoint, has been a kind of technological singularity, has been like drawing a line in the sand, and once we cross that threshold, the world has never been the same again. So we've always overcome boundaries, and we've always disrupted civilization with our technological innovation. So now let's fast forward to the present day, right? We're living in a time of rapid change. We're living in a time of massive disruption. We're living in a time where billion-dollar corporations disappear out of nowhere, and billion-dollar enterprises seem to be born just as quickly. Now, no doubt people in this audience are familiar with why this is so, but to the general public, it just feels like we're getting constantly slapped in the face by transformation and disruption, and everybody is scared that their jobs are going to be replaced, that their enterprises and their ideas are going to become obsolete, and no one knows where this freight train is heading. And so the question is, why are we living in such massively disruptive times? Why are we living in a time of such sort of unsettling vertigo where it feels like the rug is being pulled from underneath our feet? And I imagine many of you know this. It has to do with Moore's Law. It has to do with the exponential nature of technological progress. For the human mind, and we talked about this on Brain Games, the human mind thinks about change linearly. Our intuition about change over time, our intuition about how fast things can scale, our intuition about how fast things can grow is linear. But we do not live in a linear world. Our brain may have evolved in a world that was linear and local, but now we live in a world that is global and that is exponential. And so there's a cognitive dissonance, and it's the reason why the general public hasn't jumped on the crypto train or doesn't understand blockchain, because most people are still thinking linearly, and they don't really see beyond the horizon of what they imagine is a linear projection about what tomorrow looks like. But tomorrow is not a linear place that's arriving at a linear speed. Tomorrow is coming at us at an exponential rate. So for those watching at home and those that don't really understand Moore's law, here's a sort of quick example used by Ray Kurzweil. Ray Kurzweil is the head of engineering at Google, and he uses an example called the 30 steps example. And again, I'm using this example because when you start to imagine what becomes possible with the metaverse, what becomes possible with virtual reality, what becomes possible with a space exploration game built on the Solana blockchain and the future of virtual economies, you have to understand exponential scale. So, if you take 30 linear steps, you get to 30. 30 linear steps gets you to 30. And that's how we think about change over time. Oh, the next 30 weeks, the next 30 months, I'm making a projection. This is what's going to happen. But if you take the same amount of steps exponentially, right? 30 linear steps gets you to 30. 30 exponential steps gets you to 1 billion. That's the reason why the smartphone in your pocket today that you take for granted and you complain when the battery dies, that smartphone is 1 million times cheaper, 1 million times smaller, and 1,000 times more powerful than what used to be a $60 million supercomputer that was half a building in size 40 years ago. Now again, how often do you think about this when you're trying to sort of grapple with the pace at which things are changing, with the pace at which blockchain is becoming a decentralization, peer-to-peer revolution that's going to upend the economy as we know it, right? Most people just don't see that because they don't think exponentially. But by the same token that a supercomputer the size of this building shrank down to a device that fits in your pocket, in the next 25 years, we'll have brain-machine interfaces and fully immersive game worlds that reality will not be able to compete with. So many people's ambitions today are thwarted because of a lack of opportunity. So many people choose to spend their time in game worlds because reality just can't compete. Right? For most people, the humdrum of the everyday is dull. It's the reason that game worlds are a $1 trillion economy, because they are as big as our imagination. So when I see Star Atlas in its initial inceptions, but its eventual promise, I see a capacity of the human mind to leave behind the banality of the everyday and pretty much upload ourselves into these game worlds. And when you combine the two things that don't have an edge, which is human imagination and the universe, you have Star Atlas. Now, because of blockchain technology, what you do in Star Atlas can have a bleed-through effect into the real world. If you are successful in Star Atlas, you can be successful in the real world. People won't be able to say, stop gaming, go get a job, because those things you do in that game world will probably create more wealth and opportunity than most people might have been privy to in the default 3D meat space, right? Because of NFTs, because of blockchain, you'll be able to explore the frontiers of the universe, buy spaceships, assume a new identity, expand the repository of your consciousness, trade, build empires, grow civilizations, and more within a fully realized game world. Now, to me, that seems pretty astonishing. It makes me think, as a film lover, of when the film Avatar came out, James Cameron's famous film, and thousands, millions of people were obsessed with this movie, and they used to say when they left the movie theater, they were depressed. They wanted to go back to that world because reality just cannot compete. And to that end, Star Atlas, I think, will sort of be the answer to that question. When reality is dull, when reality doesn't give us a lot of opportunities, when jobs are being taken over by machines and by AI, where do we go? Well, I think the virtual economy of a metaverse game like Star Atlas, I think, is a great example of where we might go. So I'd like to show you a little video because I speak around the world about exponential technologies, and my interest is in expanding people's appreciation of the implications of exponential tech. Everything from digital transformation, virtual reality, Moore's law, to biotechnology, genetics, turning biology into software, and how that's going to change the world, nanotechnology, and what in Silicon Valley they call the technological singularity. So the first video I just want to play is called The Future of Us, and then I'll talk a little bit more about my collaboration with Star Atlas. Please play the first video.
So let's talk about the future of us. What does that even mean? The future of us. So let's talk about the future of us. What does that even mean? The future of us. It's a look at what comes next. It's a look at what might be. Because today, exponentially emerging technologies are transforming what's possible. They're helping us overcome, transcend even biological limitations. The very rules of what it is to be human are up for grabs. We're rewriting the software of life with biotechnology. We're turning matter into a programmable medium with nanotechnology. We're creating sentient minds with artificial intelligence that are not bound by the limitations of biology. These three overlapping revolutions, GNR, genetics, nanotechnology, and robotics, together will be leveraged to lead us towards a black hole-like, impossible to fathom singularity. It's like staring into the sun, a moment of a rousing symphonic climax when all of mind, leveraged and networked together, transcends its biological origins, and we become something more. People worry about the AIs and the them. Well, as Kurzweil says, that's going to be us. The future of us is ours to dream up.
Now, the whole point is that we're on an exponential train, and it's always been, as Marshall McLuhan said, the artists who realize that the future is the present, and they use their work to prepare the grounds for it. So when I see Star Atlas, I see artistry, I see a rendering of human imagination and human possibility and human aspiration. I'm inspired by Marina Benjamin's quote from the book Rocket Men when she says, "When we dream of space, we dream of transcendence, and we dream of what we might become." So in summation, as a sort of ally of what Star Atlas is trying to create, built on the Solana blockchain, a futuristic space exploration game world that will have its own economy with reality bleed-through effects into the default world. If you conquer the universe, if you become immensely wealthy in Star Atlas, that will carry over into what you might call the default world. Now, we've prepared a trailer for Star Atlas to set the mood, and so I want to thank Solana for allowing us to be here. Star Atlas wouldn't exist without the Solana blockchain, and thank you, Star Atlas, for having me share their vision. Please show the Star Atlas trailer.
Miles, the station reported a distress signal last night. They think it came from your dad's ship.
The signal, it came from past the outer ring. How is that even possible?
His ship has been reported missing for 20 years now. Pretty sure he's not coming back.
We go there, we might not come back.
What is this place?
This is going to change everything. have the map. They're gonna kill us for it.
If that's the case, there's only one thing we can do.
That's Star Atlas, future. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
That was pretty sweet. Thank you so much for presenting the trailer and putting out some fantastic ideas about the future and about gaming. We are nearing the conclusion of our programming today here at the growth stage at Estufa Fria. But coming up next, we have a very exciting panel that is going to be discussing some different themes in the crypto world, social tokens, NFTs, and all of it is going to be tied together with the shared theme of giving back to the community. If we are ready to go, we can welcome up our guests. I will be moderating this panel as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
Does this get turned on automatically?
All right. It does, yes.
It does. Hello? Can they hear me now? Oh.
Well, sweet. Thank you all for joining. I think we can all start off by doing some quick intros. So, Leon, you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. This is my first live panel ever. And this is founder of Only One. And we're trying to help content creators monetize without the need of third parties. And we just launched our beta a month ago and closed our seed round with Alameda a couple months ago. So just here to look for networking with other builders and learn more about the whole ecosystem.
Sweet.
Hey, I'm Noah Prince. This is my first panel ever, so go easy on me. I'm the founder of Wumbo, which, if you guys saw it with a bunch of price tags on Twitter that looked kind of like BitClout, that's what we did. I'm actually here. We're kind of pivoting it into a protocol because we realize there's a ton of people that want to build social tokens, and we really need to enable the builders. So I'm actually here to try and network with developers and, help them build social tokens. It's super easy. It's, a couple lines of code.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Michael, and I am the community director over at the Dfinity Foundation. So for those of you who have not heard of Dfinity, we are a Swiss non-for-profit based out in Zurich, Switzerland, and we are one of the primary contributors to the blockchain network called the Internet Computer. So Internet Computer is essentially a public blockchain network where people are able to build all sorts of general purpose items, things like NFTs, websites, GameFi, SocialFi, enterprise systems, kind of the list goes on. But I'm excited to be here, and thank you again to the Solana team for having me.
Of course. Thank you all for giving an introduction. My name is Ryan. I am on the Solana Labs team. I focus on operations, product, and marketing. And I'm sort of going to be helping facilitate this discussion today. So, my first question to you all, and this is an open question. Our panel's title is about giving things away to your community. And we have a couple of you all that are sort of focused on founding and stimulating the growth of your own community. And so I'm wondering, with this very general question of how you build a close, tight-knit community, how do you view giving away things and also rewarding your community in the early days? And how important is that to you when you sort of look at early growth metrics that might be, somewhat misleading in some ways or exciting in others?
Yeah, I'm happy to start and take this one. So I think there's a couple of things that we try to look at the Dfinity Foundation as it relates to both supporting our community of enthusiasts and developers and investors, but also in trying to support the founders and entrepreneurs as they go out and start to develop their own communities. So early days, a lot of that focus was primarily on decentralization and trying to ensure that there was enough of a base of people that were interested in the underlying protocol and the work that would inevitably need to be done to help build out that ecosystem. And we primarily went about incentivizing those people through things like airdrops, but also just time. You know, it cannot be understated how much time you really do need to spend with, you know, those early participants in your ecosystem, the ones that are interested in really getting out there and doing more. So by arming them with, you know, access to the team, giving them your time, and perhaps, you know, a bit of initial funding, you really can, you know, get to a point where they're doing a bit more.
Yeah. So I think what I'm about to share is something that most other founders or project owners can probably resonate. Is that what you really want to do about growing your community is you want to have people that actually know what your project does and really believe in the vision of the project to be part of the community and stay there long term and eventually become users. And when it comes to giving things away, it's something that we use very sparingly. You know, I mean, we all know the meme like when airdrop, when moon or whatever. Like, I think that's rather. I mean, it's fun for a while, but over a long term, if that's all your community cares about, it's also a little bit toxic. So we try to like use that very sparingly at certain times as like a marketing gig, but in the context of giving things to our creators and like our end users on the actual platform instead of just growing our Telegram or whatever. I think that's a very different environment where it's all about incentivizing creators to do the right thing and put out the right content, maybe, you know, mint the right NFTs, and also for people consuming those content, it also matters a lot to them how the incentivization structure is being, you know, created. Yeah.
So I think for us, it's interesting from a developer standpoint, right? Like, if you look at Metaplex, they launched, they never took any fees, they never took any cut, but they made it really, really easy to launch your NFT, and they created this standard, and this standard has an incredible amount of value, and they gave it out for free, right? And that's not to say Metaplex doesn't have value. There's a tremendous amount of value, and everybody who works there can tell you that, right? And I think there is kind of this is why we're kind of pivoting to the protocol model. I think there is this power in just giving things away to the developers because it's really the builders that make this ecosystem, right? It's those people getting out there and they realize that there are new business models that can be made. Like, you've given them a framework for completely new business models. And so in the early days of NFTs, you saw, you know, just simple art and people were buying it because they like the art. But as it's matured, you've got people doing incredible things with it, creating video games where your NFT gets you something in the video game, access to gated communities, really just generally the community. And I think, you know, for us, that's going to be really important. And then just being there from a developer support standpoint, right?
One more point on this, Ryan. So when you're looking at the actual creators, the people who are developing some of these platforms and some of these ecosystems, I think it's also really important to think about this idea of, you know, kind of giving away free things more through the lens of how do I just create some really great, you know, incentive models and feedback loops. So one of the things that we are currently seeing, you know, becoming quite popular within the internet and computer ecosystem as it relates to a number of, I guess, SocialFi projects that we're starting to see pop up. You know, products, I think there's one called OpenChat, which is very similar to Signal, one called Discover, very similar to Reddit, and another called District, very similar to LinkedIn, is how do we incorporate, you know, some of these models where, yes, we are able to reward, you know, the users for the things that they're doing on the platform, whether that is, you know, posting content, moderating content that's coming through, spending more time in promoting the content that is happening within the platform, outside of the platform. And yes, you can always encourage these people and reward them with native tokens or governance tokens. But there's also, you know, a lot of value in rewarding those people with things that aren't necessarily related directly to that platform. So perhaps cross collaborations with different NFT artists or different other platforms and products that are popping up in your ecosystem. And then you are kind of getting to this place where you're creating these shared experiences, right? And ultimately, when I think about, you know, what really does help to create a strong community for some of these smaller projects that are just getting started, it's the incentivization models, it's the shared experiences, it's really having people kind of bought into that mission and where that application is going. So I think, in incorporating some of those things, you can get quite far.
Absolutely. I think to continue this, line of questioning, Noah and Leon, you're both focused on building your ecosystem, building your community. With regards to incentive structures and historically what we've seen in the past with projects like Dfinity and Solana and their legal structure and their business model structure, how do you sort of view and anticipate the power laws that still sort of replicate themselves with early developers, early community members, maybe other organizations that receive the lion's share of maybe these incentive structures? And specifically with regards to social tokens, I'm curious about that. But is there any, in my opinion, we're generally improving on how we sort of plant the seeds in an early ecosystem, but still some seeds get more tending than others. And so I'm wondering if how you're sort of evaluating that.
Yeah, I think outside of just how people are being incentivized to do certain things, it's also about who's getting incentivized. Like in the context of social platforms, traditionally, like the platform, advertisers pay the platform for the user's attention and activities. Whereas in a decentralized world, supposedly the platform will pay users for the value that they generated, right? I think those two are very different contexts, and that creates a completely different incentivization model for content creators in the context of social media. So, for example, on Facebook, which I'm sure most people here do use, a lot of the things that you see are vastly controlled by the platform, like what keywords do they prioritize in the discovery algorithm, or why show you a picture of your friend's dog if they can show you a picture of a hot girl that's going to make you eventually click their advertiser's link and buy a protein shake, right? So I think that kind of stuff really comes into play when it comes to how people actually create content and being incentivized to do so.
No, is this power structure, this power law unavoidable? What do you think?
So I think you give people the freedom of movement, right? Like traditional social token models, it's on a bonding curve, so one token is related to the value of another token. And typically the way people launch social tokens is they launch a base token, and the only way to buy all the social tokens is tied to that base token, and then they take a cut of that base token. And this is kind of your traditional model. But what if you could create any base token? And what if now there's an economy for creating a collective, for creating a community, and then driving that community? And now people can leave one community and go to another. And so you're saying, look, if you join my collective, we're going to take some fee on the sales, but we're also going to build you a website, or we're going to build you a video game, right? And it's this freedom of movement and this really ability to customize where things go. Not everyone's going to have the same business model. I mean, even in the NFT space, we've seen people create incredible business models just out of the idea that you can send royalties to different accounts, right? And that's what we want to enable.
And just to add on to Noah's point, I want to agree with why social tokens are actually a very brilliant financial model as well. Decentralized social media has been a trend, has been a thought for many, many years. Even back in 2016-17, there's been many other platforms trying to basically decentralize social media. Some of them include Steemit, Mithril, Gifto, you name it. And most of them revolve around basically rewarding users, giving away free stuff for producing quality content. And over the long run, they face a small issue about the token becoming over-inflationary, because they just give, but then the actual utility of the token is not fully, ironed out. And what social tokens can actually do, which something that I do admire a lot as well, is they decouple the financial the inflationary aspect of their native token, and every content creator have their own token. Like you would have Noah token, and then you can have your fan base trade your token. So I think that definitely has its place in the future of decentralized social media.
Got it.
Do you have any thoughts on this as you've sort of seen the Dfinity ecosystem grow? And I certainly have some thoughts as we've witnessed Solana's ecosystem flourish over the past year. But especially as you sort of evaluate projects and how you might be consulting them and advising them through these decisions to structure these incentive models.
Yeah.
What's top of mind?
I think one of the things that I've been personally very much so looking at is just how we can try a good number of these models early on. I think there's a lot of value in remembering that when you are just starting out and you kind of have this core group of your community, you can try different things and you can have that kind of dialogue with your ecosystem about how you might want to work on some of the different incentive models as it relates to your application particularly. And one of the things that I think is helpful in that regard is something that I think was very much so top of mind for a lot of projects at the protocol layer for quite some time, and maybe a little bit less so now, but I think it will kind of be in the back of everyone's minds for quite some time to come, and it's the conversation of governance too. And on the internet computer, we really want to get to a place where people are able to utilize essentially what is a replica of our on-chain governance mechanism called the network nervous system to create things called the service nervous systems and work with their community to, in almost real time, week over week, month over month, change some of these parameters, change some of these incentive models until they find something that works. But I think right now the major bit of feedback that we have for people is to continue to try different things and continue to experiment, and also learn from your neighbors too. Composability is really one of the key features for the internet computer, and being able to incorporate the attributes and applications from other creators within our space. So to that extent, you might be able to find ways in which you can focus on utilizing your tokens, and whether they're social tokens or governance tokens, for very specific outcomes, while leaning on maybe some of the functionality that's provided by other projects and platforms within the space to add some of that additional functionality that you're looking for out of your end product.
Completely, that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious for you both, the founder's perspective when looking at cross-chain composability and how you sort of view other ecosystems, as I'm sure in your product roadmap you're not only looking at Solana, you're looking beyond. How do you sort of view what we've been discussing in terms of how ecosystems started, and does that sort of impact how you view them at the current moment, or how you can see their growth in the future?
I think I was listening to Audius's talk earlier, and I thought Audius is one of the more mature projects out there that's actually consumer-facing. And in terms of actual getting adoption from retail users, I think there's still a lot of infrastructure and a lot of tools that needs to be built before that can be an easier onboarding. They have the Hedgehog wallet, which is something that's brilliant, and the figurative gap between different ecosystems right now is still rather huge. For someone new to crypto, you have to tell them, hey, you have to bridge your BNB using the smart bridge to the other chain, and then you can do this on the other DeFi protocol. And that kind of user experience is just too big of a friction for user adoption. So in terms of going cross-chain, I think that is going to be a major catalyst for true retail user adoption of crypto dApps. Not just trading and buying and investing, but also actually using these decentralized applications for solving real-life problems.
Noah?
Yeah, I think cross-chain is a difficult question because we're so early, right? In the early days of AWS, there was just AWS. That's where you would deploy things, right? And then Google Cloud came out, and then Azure came out. And then suddenly you started seeing a bunch of tools come out, like Terraform, that make it so that you can do things across them. But in that early stage, you just couldn't not couple yourself to what you're building on, right? And that's where we are now. So at the end of the day, you pick the chain that fits your needs best, which for us, when we're minting tons of tokens, you need low fees. And then eventually, right, open to going to multiple chains, but it's the level that we're doing things right now is much lower. It's almost like we're building infrastructure and highways for a city, and you can't just swap it.
Totally. We have a couple minutes left, so I'm going to split up time, give you each 30 seconds. What free things can we get from you today in your ecosystem or your project?
All right. Actually, now that I think about it, there is, well, it's not today, but you can sign up today, I believe. There is an NFT drop coming from an organization called Poke Studios, and they do really wonderful work. They have a series of bots that they're dropping, and they're also doing a very massive metaverse project on the internet computer. And I think it's really exciting to see some of these come to fruition. The canister smart contract model on the internet computer essentially allows for people to have up to about 8 gigabytes of space that they can play around with when they're actually building out, these NFTs. So now you're seeing people build out things like art galleries that, and of course these canisters can hold metadata that can also own their NFT or hold NFTs. So we're seeing a lot of really interesting things coming out of that side. But if you are interested in kind of taking a look at what is happening on kind of this metaverse conversation, as well as maybe getting your hands on a couple of pretty freaking cool NFTs, Poke Studio, and I will tweet about that probably after this chat if anyone wants to find it quickly. And I'm just at the Mike Hunt on Twitter.
Sweet. Noah?
I don't have any free NFTs for you, but
None.
I can offer my time. If any of you are interested in building social tokens at all, if you just have an idea, if you're a developer or if you're a creator and you want to, let me know. Reach out to me. You can find us at Team Wumble on Twitter, and I answer the messages on there. You can find us in the Discord. When we launch a protocol, I'll be there as well. A lot of these people that are really, really early, it's going to be super hands-on, right? Like I will probably basically be helping your developer write code. That's what I have to offer now. Is my time.
That's a great offer.
Yeah, we also don't have any free things to give away for now. But we're all here to build and learn, right? So we're currently building our beta product, and beta users is something that we value a lot, and we really want people that actually understand the ecosystem and the whole vision to join on board. So come talk to me, and I'll definitely have very interesting conversations with people, and hopefully can get more people come to try out the product, and also just to meet new friends.
Sweet. Well, thank you all so much.
Yeah.
We had a lot of ideas shared here today. A couple of panel newbies, but I think we had a great conversation. Thank you all so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again. I've moved locations. We have another panel coming up. Panels galore. We are looking at some interesting stuff coming from the NFT world. And similar to what we discussed here, community. We have a few folks joining us here on the stage. Alevtina Yakovenko, the person putting on the whole show here at Breakpoint. Joining Benjamin Chow from Mercurial, Emily from Metaplex Studios, Itai from Market Across, and Terry from Solanium Ventures. We still need some time to set up, so we're going to keep going. We're going to be discussing some interesting stuff about how developers have really joined the Solana ecosystem over the past 6 months and what that means for new projects launching. If everybody here is interested, I also would like to pose an open invitation to stand up and take a deep breath, because we've been sitting for a while and we could use a stretch. You don't have to. I'm going to do a stretch, but everybody, come on. Get up.
Water?
We need some energy in the room. Take it up. Hey, Steven, in the back. Get a good stretch going.
Stretch.
Got Metaplex coming up next. We good? Aleftina, take it
good?
away. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This is our last closing evening panel, but we will cover the questions that I'm getting asked on a daily basis by the ecosystem projects and by new team just starting to build up. So I'm pretty sure you're going to take something interesting for you individually from this conversation, especially from our special guests. I'm really happy to see you all. Thank you for joining. I think we should take some time and make a full introduction of everyone we have in this panel. So please, Emily.
Hi, my name is Emily Poplawski. I'm the CEO of Metaplex Studios. We support the Metaplex protocol. We are the NFT protocol for Solana, so all the experiences that you see with NFTs and NFT drops, they're using our metadata standard. And beyond that metadata standard, we offer more utility and smart contracts. So we have smart contracts for minting NFTs, as well as distributing NFTs, whether that's an auction or an NFT drop. And then our most popular product to date has been Candy Machine. And it's a really fun name. But basically what Candy Machine does, it allows you to drop thousands and thousands of NFTs at a time and do it in a way where it's harder for bots to take advantage of it. So really, if you have an NFT, a profile picture NFT, you likely have used an NFT that was minted and distributed through Candy Machine.
Thank you. Ben?
Hey everyone, my name is Ben. I'm with Jupiter. So Jupiter is Solana's first liquidity aggregator. And what that means is that we actually aggregate all of the major liquidity sources on Solana to offer you the best prices for swapping any token to any token. We just launched several weeks ago, and we're already doing several million in daily volume transactions.
Amazing, thank you. That's great. Moving forward to our next guest, Terry.
Hi guys, I'm Terry. I'm the founder of Solanium Ventures. I'm actually a developer at Core, working at the Solanium Launchpad platform. Some of you might know it already or participated in an IDO there. And yeah, excited to be here.
Thank you so much. And our last but not least guest, Itai. Itai, sorry.
It's all good. I'm a CEO and partner at Market Across. We're a blockchain marketing and PR firm. Been in space for a long time. Run PR for Polkadot, Polygon, eToro, a few others, and of course, know Solana for a while and very active in the Solana ecosystem.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Developers started the blockchain. They fed the growth of the blockchain for a long time. And now the growth of the blockchains is based on the new flow of users, which are non-technical. But non-technical users are as important as their previous the previous community, the developer community. So we will talk today about how to grow a community, how to grow a loyal group of people supporting your project. And we have here a very large group of people, and based on the demand on this conference tickets, we have a large Solana community. So in your opinion, what stands the Solana community apart from other blockchains communities? Itai?
Yeah. I think that, first of all, we're at the last panel of the secondary stage, and it's full. So first of all, I think community's super hungry. I think it's a bit less entitled than I would say the Ethereum community. I see nice, like just projects that are generally nice people. So I do think that from what I'm seeing, there's a very organic burst of actual interest from people that aren't OGs in crypto space that I've seen in conferences in 2016. So there's a lot more fresh faces than I've ever seen in a conference of this size. And I think that it creates a pretty unique community.
Amazing. Terry?
I think also there's a big difference between other ecosystems, is that in Solana I don't necessarily feel a lot of tribalism. Like we work with a lot of projects from the early stages who are already like focused on making the whole product cross-chain, which I think is pretty unique.
I'm probably gonna echo whatever everyone else is gonna say, but I've actually found the ecosystem. Everyone is not only very talented, they're very helpful and nice, and approachable. So I think you could walk up to anyone and be able to like have a great conversation, get some help, and kind of get a leg up and started. So it's been wonderful.
Yeah, everyone kind of hit all the points. The point to me that is really salient is Solana is the most equitable blockchain if you think of the cost of Ethereum and just getting into NFTs there, it's 120 gas price, which comparatively to Metaplex, it's a couple of dollars. So really, when you think about barriers to entry, how to get the most people possible into the blockchain and Web3, Solana is the solution in my opinion, and it's up to all of us here to keep that spirit up. Talking to people in our community from countries like Venezuela or places in the world that are not developed countries like Europe, where finances and turmoil are happening in their country, for them, blockchain matters the most. Principles like be your own bank. So we really need to preserve that. And I really hope that in future conferences, the community and the energy here tonight is the same, and that we welcome people who are new, and we don't have a stigma that you weren't here in 2021. You joining the party then, you're just as important.
Thank you so much, Emily. Yeah, we kind of covered a little bit the theoretical part, what we have, that we have amazing Solana community and what we already have. But if there is a new, just starting project out there in the ecosystem and they plan to build the community, what you would advise them to start with, and what challenges they might face, what advices you would give them, like what is the flow of starting actually the community?
Yeah, so I'll start the question, and then we had like a fun time talking about this ourselves. So I think whenever you're starting a new community, you have to identify like who's in that community and what it is that they care about. So talking to the community organically, hearing their voices and what they're saying is really important in designing that, and also designing your project in general. What we see in Metaplex, we have 25,000 plus NFT projects, a large number of communities, is the spirit of building and creating product like after the NFT drop. So if you think about marketing and the excitement and doing the NFT drop, now people have your NFT. What is it that they're going to do? Is it gating them into a special community? Is it entering into a game? A large portion of our projects actually are seeing this like huge drive to charity. And recently, this past week, we integrated charities. So like in the drop down, I hope it's out, but you can pick up one of 200 charities, and that in royalties, you can flow funds into that. So really finding the sticky measure of what people do once they're in the community is important. I think more than any other industry in the past, mobile, whatever, all those industries, like you never knew the health of the community because it was behind closed doors. You couldn't see the inside finances. But here in NFTs, you always know the floor price. You always know if people are trading out. So as a creator community, you're held to a lot higher standard. You need to make sure that people are happy because they're not just using your product for free. They've actually bought, on average, an NFT that costs 540 equivalent to USD dollars. So there's this huge principle of reciprocity. Because people on your platform, because they're using you, because they've already paid, you as a creator, you as a community manager, you owe them that really nice level of customer support.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you need to show love to your community, that they are taken care of. And it's actually an important factor of the loyalty, because when you just already launched a product, that attracts a lot of attention, and it's easy to grab the people's time when you're about to launch something. But it's hard to keep the loyalty after the launch, and you kind of need some special tricks and tips for that. Ben, I know you have a different opinion on this, and it's kind of like not a tactical person. You're more like about the impulsive community growing.
Sure.
Can you share about it more?
Let me give a little bit of context first. So with Jupiter, we launched. I mean, we saw a very big need. There were a lot of tokens launching, and there were a lot of markets coming up. And so we felt there was a big need for having a swap aggregator in Solana, right, to make it super easy to buy. Say if you wanted to buy Woof or Cheem or any number of these meme coins, right? So for us, like, we delivered value to the ecosystem, to the community, like, right away, right? And our approach to like building our community was really finding people who resonated with our product. So we actually we haven't done any airdrops, we haven't done any incentive programs. Because we think it's really important to find people who truly love what you do and they truly see value, and use that to build sort of the base, right? The base of the people who are going to stick with you. So actually, a lot of times people come in and they say, when token, when airdrop, And I sort of tell people like this thing, like, you don't really want to be that friend who's always hitting you up for money. That's really not a good relationship. It's not a good way to kind of kick off anything. And so, like, I see our community sort of as like friends, right? We're actually trying to build a home for traders to trade any token. And I think it's really important to try to create an environment with genuine, true connection.
Yeah, the feeling of friendship is very important, and I think it's the most valuable thing you can find across the communities. Terry, what was your path in growing the community for the company, and what challenges did you face?
Yeah, so we pretty much grow the community like really, really quick. We only started the project like on mainnet like 5-6 months ago. And basically what we did was a sort of kind of whitelisting system, which we're basically using still to this day, a little bit more defined. But yeah, to get to the point of like the loyalty of the community, I think for us as like a launchpad, it's tricky because we're also like really dependent on like external factors, like what kind of projects the people want or the majority of the community want. And I think in the Solana ecosystem, we're pretty lucky. Like there are a lot of top-tier projects that we launched so far and that are in the pipeline. We've got like a big diversification of the lineup. We got gaming projects. We got actual like technical DeFi projects. Yeah, to basically keep everyone happy.
Here we are. Itai, what was your experience? Maybe you can see some patterns across the blockchains, what are mistakes, on the other hand, best practices.
I think that it's important to not fall for tribalism. A lot of crypto historically has been very tribal, so I hate that guy or that gal because she thinks the block should be bigger or smaller, so they're the antichrist or whatever. So I think that it's a cheap trick that you could use, but you shouldn't. And I think you should build a community that's for yourself and not against something else. And I think that that's, from what I've seen in Solana, happening. So I don't see any big antichrist or a lot of anti-whatever memes of, and there's some sick shit out there. The second thing that I think it's important to see is not just a lot of other chains that are, I would say, Ethereum competitors are just trying to do copycats of whatever works on Ethereum. So they're like, oh yeah, we're doing that, but on this chain. And I do think that it's important in a new blockchain like Solana. So yes, you're doing something that's similar to something that worked somewhere else. That's good. You have to bring something new, and you have to bring something that other people. So again, if let's say MakerDAO succeeded, a few other things on Ethereum didn't succeed. See what didn't succeed there, learn from there. So I do think it's very important to. So there are a lot of people that are entering the blockchain just for Solana. That's great. But there's also a lot of people who've been in space for 4 or 5 years, and we want to see what you guys have learned from projects that failed. And unfortunately, a lot of people raised a lot of money and did not deliver a lot of the products. So I do think that don't be tribal, go pro, and also look at projects that wanted to do what you were doing similar in the past few years and see what they did wrong and learn from it. So I think that's very important. When I talk to someone and they say, I have no competitors in the space, it's a very big turn down. So first of all, we all live in a centralized world and we're surviving. So there's always a centralized, and there's most likely 4 different people who wrote a white paper kind of similar to what you want to do in the past, even if they did nothing with it. Understand what didn't work there. So it's very, very important if you ask me.
Where should the projects actually look for the community? Like there is some projects that have beautiful product, but they have 0 followers, and it works also the other way around. Where to actually find those community and loyal followers? Where to start?
So I think there's pros and cons. I think Launchpad is always seen as a very good way, and I'm pro that for new tokens, but I would say select 1 or 2. But if you do 6, 7 Launchpads and then you come to us and say, we have a problem with the community, there's 50,000 people there, but they're not really engaged, but yeah, because you went to 7 different Launchpads and they discovered you through what coin am I buying this month. So I personally am not a big fan of vanity metrics when it comes to community. I don't care about the numbers. It's more about, I would say, the online and the active. So a 3,000 person community that really is engaged and loves it and isn't when token, where an airdrop, that's great. And I think that start from, creating materials, writing stuff. Start with 3, 4, have an invite. I really agree with don't incentivize people on day one.
Yeah.
So of course, when you want to scale, there's a certain thing, but incentivizing someone, as someone who has 3 kids, I can't incentivize them to do everything because it's not going to work well. There's just not that many popsicles in the world. So I agree. I think that just start small, get 1, get 2, get a friend, and escalate.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, 2 people is a community, 3 people is a community, 4 people is a community. So starting off small and just seeing what people are talking about in a really organic way and then fostering that conversation. Typically, one solution that has worked really well is coming out of COVID. JK, we're still in COVID, but coming out of COVID, like the drive to be with one another in social environments like this awesome conference is just it's such a carrot. Like, people want to get back out there. They want to have happy hour. They want to see people. So social events, just like online events, are just so much important. And then always, always, always be helpful. If people have a question, answer it. Before this job, I actually sold a company, and we had the largest community in women's health. And it was all about answering those really awkward questions about health and fertility. So if you're able to provide someone something of value, they remember that. And if you're able to provide them something of value when they're most vulnerable or when they're struggling with their code or when they're excited, if there's an emotional tie-in, then that tie-in affinity to your product and your platform is so much greater. So create an emotional response that's positive and not negative, and measure that too. So another good way to measure that is you want 40% or more of people coming to your platform to retain into the next week and week over week. That would be a healthy metric to track.
You know, well, I'll just add a couple things, a couple thoughts. I actually think it's really important to think about what is the kind of community you want to build, right? And I think it's actually also equally important to think about like what is the community that you want to be a part of, right? Because it sort of comes down to, if you're going to be there and you have to be there and answer all the questions and you spend all that time, it has to be a place that you want to be there for. Because if it's sort of this thing where you see it as a task, where like I should come in and do this thing and then get out, then there's never going to be enough momentum and enough energy, because in the very beginning, really the person who's going to be the anchor for the community is you. So I think that's really important.
I also want to add that growing a community is a great source of the community manager, because sometimes people bring to the product someone from the outside, and if you find a community manager in your community, first of all, the person is already engaged with the product, it knows all the details, the person is excited about the product, which allows them to share the motivation and the excitement and love with the community, as well as it gives them the opportunity to actually contribute and be part of something big and grow together. So having even a small community and taking the community manager from it can create the loyalty right from the beginning.
That's so true.
Okay, great. We still have a little bit of time left, and we are the last panel today, so I think we can be a little experimental, right? And try the first thing in this day is to ask you guys, to give you the opportunity to ask questions. So if you have questions, please raise your hand, and the person with the microphone will come to you, and we will be happy to answer.
Yeah, so we synced as a panel, and we're okay with like controversial questions. So if you're feeling a little feisty out there, it's always good morning somewhere.
Not much. I'll give you guys just maybe something you guys talked about, and maybe I can segue what I said. So as I said, there's a lot of projects that didn't work in crypto, and that's a community that you can maybe engage and get back to. So if you're doing something better than a project that didn't succeed, engage that community. There's also, by the way, more aggressive things to do, quote unquote, vampire attacks or whatever. Give us that token that didn't do well because the project didn't fulfill itself. Give it to us and we'll give you yield of our new stuff. There's a lot of different things, but I think that if you really find the different products and communities that you are fulfilling what they said they will, there's a dormant community waiting for someone to do what they wanted to do. And I think that that's a very cool way. So be a bit more proactive, find the people that wanted to do what you wanted to do and engage their community. I've seen a lot of success there.
Yeah. Another idea I think is like listening to communities that have failed is like any time of the day you can go in a Twitter space on Twitter and just hear what people are talking about, especially in NFTs, and they're asking for products.
Yep.
So if you're an entrepreneur here tonight, just listening to what people are asking for, build a product for that, and then that Twitter space is already part of your community. You can go back to that Twitter space and say, hey, the ideas that you talked about, we did. I think testing is also a great idea. We have there's a female entrepreneur I talked to last week, and we red-pilled her onto Solana, but she's building the first Solana dating app, and the way she figured that out is she was experimenting early on in Clubhouse and using Clubhouse as a platform to see like how her dating
that's cool.
gameplay would work. So it was free. She grew it to like 10,000 weekly listeners, and it gave her the confidence to like quit her job as a software developer at Fang and build this dating app on Solana.
It's amazing.
Wow.
That's very great. We got a question from the audience. Can you say your name and the question?
Yeah, hey everyone, my name is Chris Price. I have a question that I've been getting from a lot of people in the Ethereum network. One is about, since their community is so Ethereum based, how can they take that exact same community or get new people in the Solana ecosystem super excited about their project? So some of them are actually afraid to move over to Solana because they don't think that they'll be accepted by the Solana ecosystem. So what would you say to someone wanting to transition from the Ethereum over to Solana? And that could be for anyone.
So first of all, there's technically build the right bridges and help them, again, wrap it, whatever if you want. As I said, vampire attacks. The other thing is what I said, don't be tribal. If people, so let's put it this way, Cardano ecosystem, again, whatever, really tries to be tribal. So if you're into Ethereum and you're never going to go to you feel like there's a very big disconnect. So if you don't make so many rivals and if you don't make yourself, again, if you don't claim to flame by that guy sucks, then you're not going to have that, I would say, emotional disconnection. And sometimes rivals need each other. You know, CNBC needs Fox News, but then you're not going to move from whatever. So I think that taking the route of not being anti-Ethereum could make you a good, and again, technically make the right bridges and everything, but I think that's very important. Just don't shit on Ethereum. They're also, by the way, again, the biggest chain, and you still like, there's room for more than one, so it's all good. You know, that's my personal opinion. Most of the base layers that are being used right now are almost at full capacity. It's or you're a dead chain and no one's using it, or you're really running at where you need to be and you can always grow more. But there's a lot of growth happening. So don't be tribal and just create the right bridges, I think.
Also, I think everyone has always done it before you have. So if you're thinking about going to a new chain, finding projects or people who've done it before, and then hearing how it went, that's all more informative. And then you can learn from their mistakes if they had mistakes too.
Any more questions from the audience? Yeah.
Take it.
Here we go, in the middle. The gentleman in the center.
Oh, sorry. Thanks. Hello, everyone. First, I'd like to apologize for my English. I'm French, sorry. My question is for everyone who wants to take it. And it would be, in your opinion, what would be the next round of utility in NFTs?
I already said dating apps, so someone should go next.
I think financial NFTs. I think NFTs as collectibles is cool. That's a whole different thing. But I think that right now you're going to see NFTs as representation of allocations of investments, of investment strategies or whatever. So I'm really bullish on NFTs that have nothing to do with JPEGs and art, to be honest. That's what I'm looking at personally.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot in the DeFi space. We're seeing a lot of not only collaboration, but kind of moving the utility of NFTs and combining them to offer utility, not just like extra benefits or extra airdrops or something, but being able to like even multiply the collecting more, gosh, let me think about this. So instead of NFTs having a flat out benefit, right, you can think of them almost as Legos, right, where the benefits stack on top of each other, right? And so like you can actually create more interesting sort of DeFi effects in protocols. So I think you'll see that in the next wave of NFTs?
I'll maybe answer it in like a data perspective. So at Metaplex, we have thousands and thousands of different projects and partners. And if I were to like divide them as a pie, I would say a lot of arts and collectibles are building like social and community applications followed by games. And then we're seeing a lot of movement in sports as well. So just those would be the three categories, but it's so early. We just need more categories to get in there and show the world what it's all about.
More questions?
Hi, my name is James, and I'm working on a charity NFT project dedicated to ending world hunger by collecting proceeds and donating 20% to charities like Action Against Hunger. My question is for Emily, and I'm curious if you have any data or perspective about how much is the optimal percentage to donate to charity. We're targeting 20%. I know real-world charities and foundations might go as low as 5% for sustainability, but I want to balance that and staying true to a good cause.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't see where you were.
Right there. Right there.
Hey, friend. So we are just now getting up our data explorer. So rather than me pulling a number out of thin air, I would love to just connect with you in the coming weeks and actually present for our community. Here's the bell curve, and then actually do like quantitative surveys. But 20%, I've heard a lot of projects use that range. So I think you are definitely on the higher end, but know that there is a better answer I can give you. It's just not in this moment, and I want to be transparent about that.
Amazing. Thank you. Do we have more questions from the audience? Okay, then I'm gonna take the chance and ask my question. What do you guys think of ambassador program as an instrument of onboarding new community members that are proactively in participating at the product or the network or whatever? What is your opinion?
Investor program, you mean?
Ambassador programs. And if we launch them at the beginning of the growth of the product or at the end, are they sustainable enough, and how long they can last?
I'll take my take. Yeah. I think that pre-product ambassador programs smell a bit to me, because what can we be ambassador of? There is not a product. So I think it's good to have a community pre-product. It's important to get them. But again, I know Cardano's a big thing, but you do need a product to get people really riled up. And if you do all this stuff and you don't want to over-incentivize people, you don't have a product, it doesn't create the best, I think, engagement or audience. So I think it's important to do things pre-product, but post-product, of course, I'm all for those tactics, but you still need to get people to be incentivized, I think, for more users and less Twitter followers. So when you have a product, it's not ambassadors, it's referral fees, it's affiliates. So it's true you can call it that way, but yes, businesses should do affiliates and referral fees. Ideas shouldn't pay too much for ambassadors, I think, pre-product, because it creates a bit of a gap, in my opinion.
I would agree with you. I would actually, though, say that you should move fast on an ambassador program once you have a product. What we've noticed is that a lot of our best community members happen to be really strong community members in a lot of other communities, and they're actually really ready to be an ambassador. They're really ready to connect you with these other communities. And so what you want to do is you want to capitalize on that energy as soon as possible, because it's usually at the beginning of things that people have the most excitement for, the most energy to do things. And if you let it sort of lag for a bit, like say you take a couple months to start up your ambassador program or whatever it is, those people might have shifted away their attention, or they might have been drawn into another active project, and you might have lost sort of a key moment.
But I think that Emily said something correct, that you can find them inside your community. Instead of inviting them to do an open sign-up, find who's the most active one and make him your ambassador, as or your moderator or whatever.
As an organization, you only have so much budget and so many times a day. When I've done ambassador programs in the past and I've given finances to them, they haven't performed as well as if I've taken those finances and team resources and just invested it back into the project to create the next viral winning feature. So I think when possible, giving people back with tools that creates like more excitement and referral and goodwill than just paying someone to talk about a crappy tool.
Can I just share one thing about that? Because I've noticed that about sort of failed roles in general. And so normally with any role that I do, like I never give it to anyone who asks me. I actually wait for someone to do it organically. Like I watch to see like, are they sharing already? And then if they do, then I give them the actual program. So
it's a good tip.
That was super interesting conversation. Thank you so much for participating at today's panel. We are out of time, and unfortunately, we are the last panel for today, but we see you tomorrow. And thank you so much.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today at the growth stage. Tomorrow, we have a fun set of activities. We have some more panels, some more discussions, some more great talks. Also, a little cherry on top. We have a party outside. Tomorrow, 6 to 8 p.m. at the NFT Gallery. If you would like, there will be drinks. There will be people. There will be great discussion. Thank you all so much for joining. Please enjoy the rest of your day tonight. There is a ton of other events going on, and we hope you enjoyed the programming today. Thank you. Have a safe night.